A Beasley Media Group station live from the Comcast Business Studios. 97.5, The Fanatic. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas. This is Kincade and Salciunas. 97.5, The Fanatic, and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Well, today should be interesting. The Eagles won a football game. Didn't feel like it for the longest time, but they won a football game. They're 2-1. That's great. But there's a lot to talk about, and not all of it's good. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
This is Kincade and Salciunas. Yesterday, the Eagles beat the New Orleans Saints to bring their record to 2-1 on the season. Now they head to Tampa to face the Buccaneers. Kincade and Salciunas. John Kincade, Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
And a good Monday morning, Philadelphia. I'm Andrew Salciunas alongside my man John Kincade. Johnny, good victory Monday morning.
I'm going to correct you already. Great.
Okay.
Yesterday was great. There's so many great things happened.
Yeah.
It was great.
Were those great things in the Eagles game or like in your life personally?
No, there was.
Did you have a great day with your wife?
No, I didn't really because she went to a shower.
Okay.
Which honestly on a game day.
Yeah, violation.
No, when your wife goes to a shower.
Oh, okay.
But when your wife goes to a shower, there's no interruptions with anything.
That's a good point.
You just get to watch the game. It was fun.
So you had a great meal is what you're saying. Because I'm trying to figure out what the great part about the Eagles game was.
It was a great day because you wake up today in far better position than you woke up Friday morning or Sunday morning if you're an Eagles fan.
Yes.
You're in much better position today than you were. That's my great thing.
Johnny, you're going to be the beacon of light today, my man. Just like you were the beacon of light you were the beacon of light on Friday, in which I thought the Eagles would lose the game. My half-assed prediction of if the pass rush and the defense is doing well, they're going to win the football game, I guess technically came true. But God, do I not feel better about the offense today? Do I not feel better about Nick Sirianni today? I'm glad that you are looking at the positives, John, but this is not about winning a game. This is about a bigger picture, about not just winning the division and calling it a day and saying we're happy. No, this is about trying to get to a Super Bowl, getting back to an NFC championship game. You have had the calendar date marked that we're going to be doing a pregame show on NFC Championship Sunday or Saturday.
You are. No, it's Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
And you're going to be doing one. You're going to be doing one. See, I couldn't, right off the bat, I couldn't disagree with you more. I always look at September in the NFL as survive and advance.
Okay.
And this team, the stuff that I'm not worried about is the stuff that they got to work on. The stuff that I was really worried about, and I believe could still become an issue, is the stuff that has risen to the occasion. I look at that as an extreme positive. I do. I swear to you. I feel great this morning about things.
Wow.
Except one little minor issue.
Just one?
Yeah, the head coach.
Okay, just one.
No, that's it. It's just one. Because I do believe, I've got to believe that there is something with the quarterback that can be fixed.
I hope so, because that's two more.
No, it is.
And two more turnovers, which is the most in the NFL since week 1 last season. And I said this during the pregame show yesterday. It's not like he had 50 last year and 0 this year. No. 2 more yesterday. 3 in week 1. Another 1 in week 2.
Now, you realize the Jalen Hurts truthers who are going to come after you. And by the way, I'm a huge supporter, and I think you're a fan.
I am a fan.
And I think that that's key to start any conversation. You're a fan. But to me, it's completely unacceptable the way Jalen Hurts is playing. It's
yes.
completely unacceptable.
And look.
He is not, and last week, we heard it when we spoke to, I forget who we spoke to, and I'm drawing a blank, that Jalen Hurts is not the reason his team wins. They're not winning because of him.
Right.
They're winning with him. He's not the reason this team wins.
Especially not yesterday.
And that's a problem.
Now, look, I don't want to be doom and gloom guy.
Well, you're starting out that way.
I know.
I'm just telling you.
Look, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'll be completely honest with you. Like, if people aren't ready to hear that the Eagles need to figure out a hell of a lot of things in order to get to the goals that we had for this team. This isn't the Washington Commanders where we're excited for rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels and we're saying, hey, let's see what this team can do in year one with new head coach and new quarterback. No, this is year 4 of Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. This is now 2 years removed from the Super Bowl. Last year's collapse, we were hoping that they were going to bounce back, and so far they're 2-1, but they're not looking like a team that will be competing late in January. So far, I've not seen that. Now, you can point out that the rest of the league hasn't looked that way either, and that's factually correct. But you know what? We had this exact same conversation last year.
I got to tell you, and this is just where we're starting today, I can't believe you're starting here.
Yeah, I'm with Johnny on this one, dude.
I can't believe you're starting here.
I'm happy
you know what
you
it
guys.
means? You know what it means? And this is just brother to brother here.
Yes.
Honesty. You're starting this game as somebody who picked them to lose. You're not starting this game as you're starting it as like, see, they won, but it's still as bad as I thought they were. No, this team is playing a lot better than you thought they were, and that most of us did.
Well, hold on a second.
That's how it sounds. I'm just telling you how it sounds.
The offense didn't play better.
No, yeah, but no.
The offense was horrible yesterday.
The offense had
Nick Sirianni was a dope.
But the offense didn't have a terrible day if Nick Sirianni does his job. If he does his job, it's not a terrible day. You would have said it's a hard-fought victory that they walk away and they would have won the game. Instead of winning by 3, they would have ended up winning the game by 9.
Well, also,
and nobody
also 2 more turnovers.
Oh, no. The turnovers is a Jalen Hurts thing, and I'm totally on board with you.
Yeah.
But it's just, I got to tell you, I don't think you're waking up to this victory the way that I would say the majority of fans are, not vast majority.
Yeah,
the majority of fans are.
Their total yards on offense yesterday, 460 total offensive yards.
Look, so I was about to go through the good, right? Saquon Barkley was a freaking amazing again. I don't know why he doesn't touch the ball to the second quarter.
Well, that is unacceptable. Again,
right? Like,
that's unacceptable.
And I don't understand how anyone can excuse that. But Saquon Barkley had an incredible day yesterday. Dallas Goedert.
Who's excusing it?
No, I'm not saying you guys are. I'm just saying.
But nobody is. I mean, everybody's disgusted with it.
That needs to be worked on. Dallas Goedert, incredible game yesterday. Finally, right? Like we've all been waiting for this. Devontae Smith, until he gets freaking knocked out by a dirty, cheap shot. The Saints were dirty yesterday,
that his teammates didn't answer. There's another issue.
Which is an issue. But the Eagles' offense, yeah, you could look at statistics and say they had a great game. I also look at the issues from Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. But, man, shout out to the defense, right? Like, the defense slowed down a New Orleans Saints offense that put up ridiculous numbers in the first 2 weeks of the season. But the defense stepped up and played really well yesterday. Like, there are positives. Don't, like, I know it's going to suck. It's going to sound like I'm coming into a game, a show the day after a loss. They won the football game yesterday, and the defense stepped up. And there were some good things that happened offensively yesterday that I would like to celebrate. But, man, this isn't about just they won a game. This is a bigger picture for me.
You're talking about bigger picture. Bigger picture is not, to me, September 23rd worrying about January. It's about getting in position and rolling into playoff shape in November and December. That is a freaking great win yesterday. It's a great win in a huge, tough spot. And I just believe that, to me, that's the lead as far as what you should walk away with. Now, you're going to walk away with whatever you want. Every fan has their own vision, and I guarantee you there are going to be many who agree with you.
Well, it's funny.
There are going to be many who agree with you.
I have 2 questions. Obviously, it's the day after a game, so we're going to react to good things, bad things, but there's 2 questions that I want to ask the audience today to start the show, and so I appreciate you setting that up. You can text and you can call in at 610-632-0975. Where are you more like? Are you more like me today where you're like, yeah, great, they won the football game, but holy hell, there's a million things that they need to clean up and they need to get better. And you could look at that as a positive, right? They won the football game.
They won the football game.
They didn't play well and they can get better. Or you can go, hey, let's go. It's time to get better because the Nick Sirianni issues I was already worried about.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts' turnovers, I was already worried about. Those continued yesterday.
They did.
And I don't see that all of a sudden just getting better overnight. And that's what concerns me.
It should concern you. But the thing is, you got to look at what they did yesterday. And that was that's an incredible spot to win in. That is an incredible game to win in. And more importantly, to dial up a 12-point defensive effort,
oh, that was great.
That is what you should be screaming from the rooftops.
I'm celebrating it.
I got to tell you. Now, Connor, am I wrong here?
No, absolutely not.
That's what should be your jumping off point to me, and that's where we get into this discussion as you've set it up today. The jumping off point is, damn what the defense is doing. Yow, what the secondary's doing. With your best player in this, one of your two best players in the secondary, not living up to his billing in C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and you're still managing to do it. You're becoming a Fangio. You are. You're feeling it. We're all becoming Fangios.
Yes.
And it is because you're seeing it. There's an adult in charge. I know that the Sirianni issue, look, we're brothers in arms. We are brothers in arms. And the thing is, I'm sorry, and I'll apologize right off the bat. I'm sorry that I didn't listen to you and Connor more about your concerns with Nick Sirianni, because I think I figured it out, and I'll save it. But I think I figured out what the issue is early on in the season with Sirianni. But he's not competent. We do not have a competent head coach.
And then that scares me.
No, it's the truth.
But he's still the head coach. Like, he's not getting fired, right? He's the head coach of this football team. The only reason he's going to get fired is if they start losing football games, which they're 2-1. And as people have pointed out, they're a Saquon Barkley drop away from being 3-0. As ugly as it's been, they are one drop away from being 3-0. But dude, he's having a horrible start to the season.
Do you want me to share that thing, or should I wait?
Well, I know you have it in there. I think
I should.
7:30.
I think I should wait. Yeah, I think I should wait on it. I think I figured it out.
But that's one of my. And we'll get to it. But that's like, you're talking about an incompetent head coach. So I'm sorry that I'm not coming in here going EAGLES.
What I'm telling you is, you don't have to come in doing screaming Eagles chants and asking people to call up and yell. But you're not acknowledging the fact that this defense is far better than we expected it to be. Through 3 weeks. It's far better. The secondary is, can I say, an impact secondary right now. The pass rush looked better yesterday. Jalen Carter.
You know why it looked better yesterday?
Why?
Because one guy barely played.
Well, Jalen Carter was a monster.
Yes, he was amazing.
Hey, Jordan Davis had a fantastic game.
Yep.
Nakobe Dean absolutely looks like a starting linebacker for a playoff team. I don't think he's a Pro Bowl type, but he looks like he belongs, and you can throw him out there, and he's not hurting you, especially in the run game. He's not hurting you. So to me, there's just so much to be excited about. And yes, the Nick Sirianni thing is going to loom. It's going to loom large. But the Jalen Hurts problem would be my biggest first concern, because I actually respect what he's bringing to the table. I think I'm just about where I'm off defending Sirianni in any way, shape, or form.
I'll even say this, and this is something I tweeted out yesterday, and it's something that I think we need to come to terms with. We need to stop trying to pick sides between the two. Remember, how many times when we talked about the Hurts and Sirianni thing, you and I and Connor, like, we looked at it, both of them are a problem. That story that came out.
We did. Like, we looked at them as sharing mutual, mutual blame.
Both of them had to put their pride aside. Both of them had to put their egos aside. Mutual blame, and it seemed like they, squashed some things before the season started. That's great. So far through 3 weeks, it's not, this is Sirianni's fault, or this is Jalen Hurts' fault, or Sirianni needs to be better, or Jalen Hurts needs to be better. They both need to be better.
There's no question.
Like, this can't continue.
No.
Jalen Hurts can't continue to turn the ball over twice a game. Nick Sirianni can't continue to make 2 or 3 boneheaded decisions that cost you points.
If you're a Jalen Hurts defender, and look, Andrew and I both, Connor both, we're all three of us would consider ourselves Jalen Hurts fans.
Yes, I'm shocked by how he's playing. Shocked.
But Jalen Hurts has regressed. He's regressed. And we talked about it before the year. By the way, I still think he's just short right now of averaging out where he'll end up with my 4,500 yards passing, which I think he's still showing. He's a top 4 passer in the NFL right now. Can you believe that? But the mistakes are huge. He's killing his team. He's not why they're winning, and that's a problem. And his head coach, I mean, we got a whole morning to speak of that.
Oh, we'll play some clips for you here. And again, the question to start the show at 610-632-0975. Are you more with John and Connor where, look, they got the win, that's great? Or are you more like me? And the reason why I come to the table today like this, I felt the way that I felt from kickoff until the final minute of the football game.
What do you mean you felt the way you felt? Tell me about it.
The Eagles won the football game. That's great.
They did.
Right, in terms of standings and all that kind of stuff, that's great. I did not feel good about that Eagles offense and that head coach from the start of the game to basically the end of the game. And I can't all of a sudden, just because they won, say, you know what, I'm happy today because they won.
Well, I can't feel that way about the head coach, but I can certainly feel that way about the team. The defense,
and that's great.
The defense was
I mentioned the Eagles offense and head coach.
The thing is, though, that's the lead. That's the lead to me. That is, you go, look, you've won games not in your home building against two teams that very well might or should win their divisions. And that says something. That's going to mean something later on.
Okay.
That's going to mean something later on.
Well, I hope the majority of the people, I'll be bad guy today. I don't care.
No, but we don't know. The thing is, you're not being bad guy because I think a lot of people are going to share your view. I don't think that, I'm not telling you that I'm right and you have to think the way I do. But I watched that Sunday afternoon. When that game was over, I said, damn, the thing I was worried most about, the defense, is a hell of a lot better.
They played better, yes.
Second week in a row. A hell of a lot better than I expected. And the offense, Jalen Hurts, I got to think can be fixed. I got to think he can fix it. I know. And I understand why you're chuckling because he's giving you every reason to chuckle.
He's still got talent. He's running quicker this year. It looks like he still has the ability to throw some great passes. I saw him put some balls in the pillows or the buckets, whatever you want to call them. He still made some pristine throws yesterday. But then he still also made two horrible decisions that we rip other quarterbacks for. We rip Dak Prescott for making bad decisions. We rip Josh Allen for making bad decisions.
Oh, he's worse than Dak.
There's a lot of quarterbacks that we rip on a weekly basis. Oh, man, look at that. We ripped Carson Wentz for it.
Yep.
Oh, man, how does he make that decision? God. Hurts continues to do it.
Oh, it's not improving.
And so I hope it gets fixed.
I don't need any more fortune cookies, any more motivational speech. Jalen Hurts, by the way, Jalen Hurts is not the guy who should be addressing the team right now. He's not the guy. When you're not doing your job, you shouldn't be telling everybody else about doing theirs. He should be, right now, glad to be on this team right now. And he'll do it. He does his part. But he also was one of the major reasons why they could have lost and did lose last week.
All right, so here's Nick Sirianni. Obviously, we're going to be talking about him a lot today. We haven't even gotten into the decisions yet.
Oh, geez.
And we will break everything down, every single moment that happened yesterday that is worthy to talk about. And there's a lot to talk about with Nick Sirianni and his mistakes. Here he is talking about them.
I just want everyone to know, if the product on the field is not, if we make a mistake, a player makes a mistake, it's not on that player. It's always on me and me first. Nobody else. It's on me first. Because I was taught early in this game by my dad that if you coach it, if you're not coaching it, all right, and something happens on that field, that's your responsibility. That's nobody else's responsibility. That's being a man, and that's taking responsibility. That's what being a man's about, right? Taking responsibility for that you're in charge of. And that's my responsibility. So first and foremost, the interception's on me.
By the way, as far as taking responsibility for your mistakes, how come you didn't do it last week, Nick? By the way, the ESPN pregame show, the Fox pregame show, both have little comedy segments.
Yes.
What did they both focus on? Nick Sirianni's decision-making.
Oh, really?
But last week, we argued till we were blue in the face with our compadre Bill Colarulo and others about, no, it's good, man. He catches that ball. It's a great call. No, it was a stupid-ass call. And they were mocking it nationally. Jimmy Johnson just saying yesterday, flat out, I don't know what Nick Sirianni's doing.
Hey, I believe he said just play the game the right way.
Right, play it the right way. Play it the smart way. 82 years old. And I'll take Jimmy Johnson on a game day, put him on my sideline any time of the week.
I find it amazing because we hear Nick Sirianni. And look, I know I didn't want Nick Sirianni back, and I'm not a big Nick Sirianni fan. I will give him credit. He is willing to always say, hey, that's all me.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. At some point, it doesn't mean anything.
Change your freaking behaviors. Change your behaviors. It's like if you were married to a drunk, and then the next week, I'm not drinking anymore, honey. And Tuesday night, your husband comes home, and he's a drunk walking in the door. You smell the alcohol in his breath. And you go, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to do better. I'm going to be better. No, you're not. till you actually do something
until you
about
actually
it.
do something about it.
He doesn't.
And right now, or it could just be, hey, every decision he makes is wrong. It happens, right, in life. Sometimes everything just doesn't go your way. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I can't figure this dude out. Well, actually, I can. He's not a good head coach, but,
no,
that's a story for another
No.
day.
You and Connor, actually, to your credit, I think figured that out before I did.
All right.
This ain't news.
Coming up next, you'll hear more from Nick Sirianni. You'll also hear from Jalen Hurts. Something that Jalen Hurts said yesterday that we have to take note of.
Okay.
Because I caught something last year, and so far, we're hearing more of the same. But where are you at with this? It's 610-632-0975. You can text and you can call in. Look, I'm glad they won. Duh, go Birds. I'm wearing my Eagles gear today. But this isn't just about they won a game on Sunday. This is about, are they an NFC championship team? So far, I haven't seen it. But we can talk more about it as the show goes on. It's Kincade and Salciunas on this Victory Monday morning here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles.
party on this Monday morning on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Are you like me? Or you're kind of like, all right, great, they won, but... Or are you, Andy Reid? Hey, don't worry about it. Enjoy the win, man. Do you have that drop? I know I just threw you under the bus.
Thing is, though, it doesn't have to be that. Like, I have a friend here who asked me, so I will ask you the question.
Okay.
Ask Andrew.
Hello.
How he felt yesterday at 4:03 p.m. Yours was mine was bouncing off the walls.
Oh, see,
excited.
I did not get that way.
Yeah, I was
Connor,
pretty excited. I gave a little hell yeah at the bar.
I was excited. I was bouncing off the walls.
I was just relieved they came out with a win.
By the way, you will be glad is that Scott is close to you.
Okay.
He feels the way.
Look, I don't need to be.
He feels the way you do. The only thing is,
I don't need to win an argument.
No, the thing is, but he feels the way you do.
Okay.
Is he saying, how did you feel? He goes, how did Andrew feel? How did you feel? I said, I felt like that, so I asked you the question.
Yeah.
He felt, his exact response was a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did because they found a way to win again in spite of
not playing their best.
Not playing the best. Their head coach continuously making horrible decisions, and Jalen Hurts turned the ball over twice. Again, now it's fascinating. You put out a tweet. You took over the station's
Twitter account yesterday. I will enjoy getting back to just watching games for a little bit. It was a lot of fun.
I'm sure.
It was a lot of fun, but you feel like you have to engage constantly, and it was a lot of fun. We had a good return.
Connor, I just saw this now. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the Jalen Hurts poll that John put out yesterday on the station's Twitter account?
No, I didn't.
So this was at 3:49. Eagles were trailing at the time. All right? And the tweet read as follows. If Jalen can engineer a game-winning touchdown drive here, is all forgiven? Question mark. Two options, yes or no. And 63.4% of people said no. To which 36.6% say yes. Now I wonder, now that they did win, now that people realized they won, now that people were able to take a deep breath, go to sleep last night, wake up this morning, I wonder if that will flip.
I think it'll flip, but I don't think it'll flip. I don't think it's going to flip where anyone is off the fence.
Right.
I don't think it's going to flip where I think it'll get closer to 50-50. But the one thing I can't hear is, look, God, guys, it's September 23rd. Jalen's got plenty of time to work this out.
We said that last year.
He had an entire season to work it out last year, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And he had an entire offseason to work it out, and he didn't. This is far more than just a little blip on the radar. He is the worst quarterback in the NFL at turning the ball over. And we now are talking about 20 games of data, regular season data.
Yeah.
That
is 7 straight games with an interception tied. What was it? Coy Detmer or Ty Detmer? It was one of the Detmers.
It's terrible.
For a record in Eagles franchise history.
It's terrible because you're not supposed to win despite your quarterback. You're supposed to win because of them or with them.
Not just your quarterback and head coach.
Well, the head coach is a whole other issue.
But it was both of them.
Because one I have faith in, one I do not.
That's fair.
One I have faith in. Jalen.
Yes.
I have faith in you, and I'm a fan, and I think all three of us on this show are fans. Nick Sirianni's lost me. I put one out yesterday. I said, I'm done. I said, I can't do it anymore. I can't find every single silver lining to try to defend this man. And then in postgame, he reiterated why I shouldn't have faith in him.
Is it the 4th down calls?
I'll let you play it when you play it.
Well, which clip is it?
I was we got a couple. The idea that Nick Sirianni is spiking the damn football after a win. And he's talking about how the people, we heard everything people were saying, and the players all had my back. Bull crap.
Let's play it. That Connor, I have that in Monday morning.
You're so full of it.
Here's Sirianni talking about overcoming mistakes and players having his back.
An interception, whether it's a fumble, whether it's me going for it in a 4th down scenario and we don't get it, you got to overcome those things. And I'm so proud of those guys that they did that. It's just showed such a resilience and a team, right? A team plays together. A team has each other's back. I can't tell you how many times Saquon and Jordan, Mailata, and Chauncey came up to me as like, man, we got your back. We got your back, coach. I mean, this is a hard place to play. This is a hard place to win.
I swear to you, he doesn't understand. They're overcoming you.
Yeah.
They're not overcoming the other team. They're trying to overcome your decision-making. You are the one that they're having to clean up aisle 5's mess for. You're creating the drama. You are creating the issues. Don't tell me about what they're overcoming and the team's overcome. Nick Sirianni fails to realize, Coach, you're the problem they're overcoming. And you're lucky they bailed your backside out. Yeah. He has absolutely no feel for a game.
Well, and you know what? The thing that I got from that answer there, John, and it's something that you and I have talked about a lot. When your back is up against the wall, you start doing the resume thing.
Oh, yeah.
He felt the need to tell people that they have his back.
Yep.
It's been questioned, right? Like, how many times have we asked DiCecco, McClain, McManus, Zangaro, anybody that covers the Eagles, how many times have they been asked, hey, does the locker room still have Nick Sirianni's back? And
we were told that they did this offseason.
But he felt the need to say that.
Got to reiterate it.
Because he has now made bad decisions in 3 games. One of them cost you a football game. One of them, well, multiple of them yesterday could have cost you a football game. And there were some things against Green Bay, but they won that game, and you felt better about that game than any other. But he's made decisions that has or could have cost them football games through just 3 weeks already, and he felt the need to tell everybody that they have my back. And that's alarming to me.
Did you watch him running off the field?
I didn't. You saw it.
Go and watch the Eagles running off the field. And they're all bouncing around and celebrating and everything. And Nick Sirianni is like the water boy trying to keep up with the star players to be like, hey, I'm going to be in this picture. Hey, I'm here too. High five me. And he's literally being ignored. Get the hell out of my way. It's unbelievable.
They got his back, dude.
Yeah, they do. Sure they do.
All right, so the question today, are you more like John and Connor where it's like, look, there are positives to take from this game, and they won, and that's ultimately the biggest thing. It's a win in the win column. You look at the rest of the NFC that's struggling as well, but you're at least getting wins. Or are you like me where it's, I'm clearly happy that they won the football game. Like, I'm not coming in here going, I'm not Kevin Cooney.
I would say you're clearly happy.
Can I say you didn't sound it? Is that fair?
Well, no,
you didn't sound it.
Okay.
You didn't sound happy they won the game.
Hi, I'm Andrew DiCecco. I'm happy the Philadelphia Eagles won the football game. I'm not one of those guys that says I'd rather be right than
Oh, no one's accusing you of
that.
No,
I know, but
it didn't sound like you. The lead was you were upset.
Yeah,
not the lead was you were positive about winning.
Because I didn't see enough in that game to make me say, all right, they won the football game, and they're going to keep on winning football games, and they're going to go out there and be the best team in the NFC, and they're going to be a Final Four team. Like we have talked about since training camp, that they would be a Final Four team. And so far in the last 2 weeks, definitely they have not shown that.
Well, you got to look around, dude.
We did that last year.
Oh, okay. Well, guess what?
Guess last year.
Because we've had the conversation, you've agreed with me. So I need you to agree with me now or go back on your word. Was last year a once-in-a-lifetime collapse that will not be replicated?
Yes, it was a once-in-a-lifetime collapse.
Thank you for the answer. The bottom line is, last year's not happening again. Could they have the same problems? Sure.
Yes, but the problems that costed them the season last year.
I understand, but we still have to evaluate this season for what it is right now. If you're going to look at the specter of last season all year, we're going to be miserable, and I'd prefer to not do that. If you can give me 4 definitively better teams.
Well, let's ignore last year then. Ignore last year. Ignore the collapse. Ignore everything.
Right.
Has Nick Sirianni done a good job as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles in 2024?
Absolutely not. The guy has no clue what he's doing.
Has Jalen Hurts played like a top 10 quarterback or the quarterback that we want him to be so far in 2024?
No, he is not.
All right. Those are two of the most important things to a football team.
Absolutely.
Your head coach and your quarterback. Has the defense played better than anticipated? Yes. That's fantastic. Has Dallas Goedert finally had his game? Yes, that's fantastic. Let's hope that continues. Has Saquon Barkley been worth every penny? Yes, absolutely.
And then some.
Has Bryce Huff? No. There are issues.
Who did we think was better in the NFC coming into the season?
Than the Eagles? The San Francisco 49ers.
They're not. They're injured.
Well, they're injured.
But they're not.
They're injured.
The Cowboys, right? Where but some people thought the Cowboys were
still a solid football team.
Detroit's solid. Detroit's solid. They're going to be a problem. And you beat a Packers team that has gone 2-1 after losing to you.
Right.
I mean, I got to tell you.
I had the Lions winning that division over the Packers.
I got to tell you, they're sitting right there where They're sitting right there where you got to feel good when you don't play your best and you're up there at the top and you got things you can clean up. And I believe that Hurts will clean it up. I don't believe Nick Sirianni has a clue.
All right, so let's get to a call here because I know a lot of people want to talk about this game. Let's go to Dredd on the cell. What's up, Dredd?
What's up, Dredd?
Yo, what's happening, man? Listen, I'm still upset. Not a little bit. I'm upset with this. That Hurts turnover. He's killing me. At the same time as you asking what's my feeling today, satisfied.
You're satisfied. You're satisfied because they got the win. You're don't worry about it. Enjoy the win, man.
Of course, I love the wins. I'm going to celebrate the wins, but the win, I'm going to recognize it for what it is. That's not the reason. Watching the game last night, and it's up by, I think, 2. New Orleans made their last drive. They came back. They had a touchdown. Trophy was by Kamara. Just going crazy. It was who that, all over the place. Seeing all my Eagles fans looking dejected, like, oh, man,
because you thought they lost the football game, but then fortunately, and thanks for the call, Dredd, fortunately, Hurts hit Goddard, and Goddard ran downfield, and then Saquon Barkley scored the touchdown. Thank God.
Goddard was spectacular, and I killed him for the first 2 weeks.
As you should have.
And I went right out yesterday and said, damn, that was spectacular.
It was. All right, we're going to get more reaction. The show's just started, baby.
Just started.
We got a lot of reaction to this game. We still haven't even talked about, individual moments, and we'll do that as the show goes on. But we'd love to hear from you on the phone line, text line, 610-632-0975. We also have the Kincade Salciunas post-game line that we got to check out. So we got a lot of reaction today. It's going to be a busy day on Kincade Salciunas right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Everybody's so haunted.
Salciunas 97.5, The Fanatic on a Victory Monday. Woo! Go Birds! E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
Nobody's asking you to do that. Nobody's asking you to do that. There is a middle ground that you are missing. There's a middle ground you're missing.
Well,
you don't have to be fanboy with the pom-poms out, but you can lead with the good news. And the good news is you're 2-1 when other teams are playing crappy football and have found themselves to 1-2, where you've picked up a little bit of a buffer that's going to help you. Should you lose this weekend in Tampa, or maybe another weekend down the line? That there's a middle ground that I think you're missing this morning.
Well, I think part of my problem, I know Connor said to ignore last year, but part of my problem is I was saying what you're saying last year.
So was I. I honestly don't think it feels the same. It doesn't feel the same to me because I truly believe in the coordinators. I truly believe that the quarterback can fix it.
And by the way, speaking of the coordinators, Kellen Moore, there were play designs that I loved.
Yes. Oh, there was a lot that I loved.
There were some just stuff that we didn't see last year.
How about the play design on the biggest play of the game to Dallas Goedert?
Yeah.
Did he have anybody within 15 yards of him?
Second biggest, I believe, in fairness. I think the Saquon run
65-yard run.
Yeah. Well, a little bit longer, but yeah.
What, the design of that play?
No,
though?
I'm just saying you said the biggest.
No, I said play design. The design of that play was ridiculous.
Well, yeah, and it was
he had a 10-yard buffer to catch it.
Well, you know what? You know what it was? It was a typical pick play that they tried running last year, but they didn't coach it well enough. Because how many times did they get flagged for offensive pass interference last year?
Yeah.
And that's coaching, right? So to your point, in terms of the coordinators and having confidence in them, as we should.
That changes everything. And also to me, though, I watched yesterday. And it's something that a lot of people don't watch for, and I was watching for it all day yesterday on every replay. You see Saquon Barkley when he doesn't get the ball?
Oh, he's still
he is a damn beast.
Blocking.
He's blocking. He's keeping Jalen Hurts clean. He's giving them more time. I absolutely am somebody who says don't pay the running back. So I cannot be like, yeah, I told you so. I got to tell you, I was thrilled in Punta Cana when I came back from getting a cocktail, and Christina goes, do you know a guy, Saquon Barkley? And I went, what? The Eagles got him. I went, what? I'm thrilled to have him. Wouldn't have been my philosophy.
Yeah, because of the contract.
But he's freaking unbelievable.
No, he's
unbelievable.
Worth every penny.
And he's unbelievable when his number isn't called.
Yeah.
And that is something where you talk about team.
Even though, by the way, it should never go a quarter where his number isn't called.
Well, don't get me started on that.
That's crazy.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, we went to a call last segment. Let's check out the text line. You can text in, call in at 610-632-0975. It is the same number. If you're new to the program, new to the station, it is the exact same phone number. If you don't want to call, you can text in the exact same number, 610-632-0975. What do we got on the text line there, Connor?
Peter from Reading leads us off today, and he says the offense was down both wide receivers. The right side of the line was hurt, and you're just complaining about the offense. Oh, my Lord. Defense was awesome against one of the best offenses in the league. Holy crap. Enjoy it.
Look, yes, maybe I should enjoy it more, but that's not how I'm feeling today. And I don't fake things, right? I come in here, and I felt the way that I'm feeling today throughout that entire game. And I'm not and look, win's a win. I'm not blinded by the win right now. Because what I saw was a lot of bad play offensively. Now, to his point, they weren't down both wide receivers all game. It was, they lost Devontae Smith. When was that?
Scoreless.
Well, he might have been talking about Britton Covey.
The game was scoreless.
Oh, yeah, he may have been talking about Britton Covey. Yeah, you're right. You lose Devontae Smith, and that is a big loss. And shout out again to Dallas Goedert. And, oh, by the way, he mentions the right side of the line. Fred Johnson.
He was fantastic.
And Tyler Steen, got to give him credit, man. Those guys played really well. They had maybe one blemish?
They had one blemish. It was right after they were bragging on him. Johnson was that one.
And had a bad false start.
It was a bad one. But the thing is, overall, man, Stoutland University's turned out a pretty nice class so far.
Yeah. And we've always talked about depth and how that might be a problem with this team. That was pretty good.
That was fantastic.
All right, let's go to Jay in West Philly. I love this. What up, Jay?
Boy, Tunis, you sound like you lost a couple prop bets or something. Is that the case?
No, that's not true.
I won all mine, by the way.
Look, that's the way you sound talking about this. We won the game. It's only the third week of the season. And your glory team, the 49ers, they 1-2. The Cowboys 1-2. We 2-1. What part did you see in that game yesterday when we won?
Say that again?
Oh, now say it again.
No, I didn't hear. We didn't hear you.
I didn't hear what you just said at the end.
Oh, all right. I was talking about your glory teams that won yesterday. You worried about thinking the Niners and everything is better than us. We 2-1. We won that game. And did you hear on the interception that Greg Olsen said that Devontae didn't run his route? He ran his route too deep.
No,
they also said that Jalen Hurts shouldn't just throw it.
You don't throw the ball,
Yeah.
Jay. Come on now.
Okay.
You don't throw Jay. No. The quarterback has to decipher and watch the play. He threw it when he shouldn't have thrown it.
Tyrann Mathieu
Don't
read
do
that.
that.
Tyrann Mathieu read that play before he even threw the football.
Come on, Jay.
Yeah, because Devontae didn't make the break.
No, Jay. It was not. Then you don't pull the trigger,
Look,
Jay.
But like I said,
He's been look, Jay. I see the comment screen. I know Jalen Hurts is your guy, and I see the comment screen. It says it's only week 3. There's plenty of time to work things out. I get it. He has now been abysmal in terms of turning the football over through 3 weeks, and it continues from last year.
Did Dallas Goedert have a good game?
Jay,
yes.
You got to stop with the stop. Jay, I usually have your back on a lot of this stuff. You got to stop with the blind apologies for Jalen Hurts. Got to stop. It's got to stop.
He's got to stop turning the football
Your
over.
lead has to be that the quarterback of this team cannot be leading the NFL for over a season in the most turnovers. Period.
Yeah.
And unforced errors.
You just got to
period.
You got to cut that out.
And then you can talk about the other stuff that you think he does really well. But lead with what is obvious.
Yeah.
Clean it up.
Stop making excuses.
Got to clean it up.
And that's what we do. All right, coming up next, we continue talking about the show. And John, you said it earlier. I don't really know where you're going with this, but you believe you have figured out the Nick Sirianni issues, is it?
Yep. And I don't know that it can be fixed.
All right, we'll
That's
get into
scary.
that coming up next. It is Kincade and Salciunas on a Victory Monday, everybody. Right here, 97.5 The Fanatic. Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. Coming up, John's going to explain why he thinks he figured Nick Sirianni out. We'll do that in a couple of minutes. We'll get to more of your texts and your calls.
I had help from one NFL reporter and one NFL analyst to come to my decision.
Okay.
So I ran it by them.
And was this based off of anything yesterday specifically, this season?
Part of it, the whole season, but something specifically from yesterday.
All right, so let's talk about some of the stuff from yesterday before we get to your hypothesis here. You know what?
I
believe it's fact.
I was terrible in science class. Mr. Severin would say so. Trying to think anybody else that who taught me science over the years.
He's get degrees, man.
I was terrible in science.
All right, so the decision. We haven't really reacted to individual things yet because we've been our main topic today at 610-632-0975 is whether or not you're coming in this morning, you're driving to work. Are you happy today, or are you kind of like me, where it's like, yeah, great, they won, but there's a million things that they still need to work on, and I don't look at it as a positive where people go, yeah, they won. I know there's a lot of issues, but they won. It could be worse. You could be the Niners, like our man Jay called in. It could be worse. You could be the Niners, who are 1-2, and that is factually correct. The Eagles have a better record than the San Francisco 49ers.
Most importantly, you could be the Cowboys, that's who I'm first worried about, because that's mission one.
Beat them, yeah.
Home playoff game, win a division. Like the NFL's clearly defined. Get the home playoff game, win your division. First step should be your check
right,
mark.
Absolutely.
Then it should be try to get the bye week.
Right
after that. But right now, with you're just the Cowboys look like they're in disarray, and they've got a brutal month ahead of them.
Yeah, they do.
At the Giants, at the Steelers, in a short week at the Giants, which could make it a little tricky.
They always can, yeah.
Just at the Steelers, at hosting the Lions, and then at the 49ers.
It's a tough stretch, and the Niners might be healthier at that point.
Oh, they will be.
Look, the Niners lost yesterday because of their lack of health. The Cowboys lost yesterday because of their dysfunction.
Correct.
Right, like that. So let's see how the Niners play out once they get healthier. But yesterday, Sirianni, there's a couple of moments, obviously, that has created plenty of conversation. The 4th and 1 in the first half with only 14 seconds left, calling a timeout, and then deciding to go with the fake tush push for the first down.
Which, in and of itself, your defense has balled out all day.
Yeah.
Give them some points.
Reward them with points.
Right. Give them some points. Just give him some points. Did you not learn from Monday night? No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He did not learn.
And look, here is my biggest thing. And, somebody tweeted at me saying if he didn't do it, you guys would be calling him a hypocrite because he went up against his beliefs again. I'm like, oh, that might be.
I wanted points.
But here's the deal. There's feel. There's context to every decision that he should or should not make. Let's say they get the first down. There's 9 seconds. So you're taking one more shot in the end zone. That's pretty much it. And I get it. One more shot to try to score a touchdown. That would be great. But it's not like they went for that 4th and 1 and there was still a minute and a half left in the half.
Correct.
Odds were they were probably going to attempt a field goal anyway.
I mean,
instead they don't even attempt the field goal and they don't get 3 points because they got stopped on 4th and 1.
It's like last week when he kicked the field goal on 4th down after the botched decision going up 6. All you got to do is just say, is it better to take, if you're going to kick the field goal anyway on 4th down last week, you want to be up 6, and you want them to have less than a minute to go. He has no feel for a game.
No. And then
that's what it is.
And then the 4th and 3, I loved it when they cut out to the Eagles fans in the crowd that are literally screaming, take the points,
by the way,
take the 3, kick the field goal.
By the way, if you know those dudes, the one who was holding up the 3 and the other one was
That's my head coach right there.
Oh, those guys were great.
Yeah, those are my coaches. Not Nick Sirianni. I'd rather those guys coach my team right now.
I love the energy from those guys. That was
By the way, Eagles fans showed up. It was great yesterday.
And Tyrone will tell us all about it, as far as, and I got him to check in on the social media feed yesterday.
Yeah.
He was like, these Saint fans are real, though.
No, yeah,
and
for sure,
is.
man.
And
it's a tough place to play.
I had gotten to do that a couple times when I was living in the South. They are a great fan base.
They are, absolutely.
Great fan base. And supposedly, the Eagles fans were really respecting the Saints fans, and the Saint fans were really respecting the Eagles.
That's when I went to Denver. I got that when it was the Eagles-Broncos game.
You got
because
that vibe?
Even though we're two totally different styles of people, we all care about our teams so freaking much that there was a respect factor in it. But anyways, that's besides the point. the 4th and 3 where literally there's fans yelling, just take the 3 points. And then the 60-yard field goal. Now, look, I will be honest with you guys.
What? Don't tell me.
I was in favor of the kicking of the field goal.
What do you
because I have one of the best kickers in the NFL.
I get your thought process, but that's a punt 10 times out of 10.
No, I know, because your defense has been playing so well, and you gave them, with a miss, you put them in incredible field position.
And
that's how it played out. And
what did it do?
The Saints went down the field and scored a go-ahead touchdown.
No feel for the game, no understanding.
Correct, and that's why I'm not a head coach in the NFL. But I was okay with, all right, I get it. There's a big if factor here, but he is one of the better kickers in the NFL. I trust my guy. Now, the problem is you didn't let him kick all game.
You didn't let him kick the easy ones.
And it's like, go get a 60 for us, buddy.
Right. But that one, I'm always real with you guys. That one I'm not completely crushing Nick Sirianni for, even though it ended up almost costing them the football game.
I get that, why that's the one that you're more okay with. I do understand that because you should be able to trust. I mean, I'm watching Brandon Aubrey down at Dallas. His 65 yarders in his sleep.
It's in a dome, right? There's no wind to deal with.
He's a good kicker. In a vacuum, right. I understand it.
Plenty of distance. It was wide right.
But it goes back to the field thing.
Correct.
This was not the second quarter of your defense had looked good so far. This was late in the game. Your defense had their number. They were not moving the ball. And you say, we'll take the chance of giving them a short field.
Right.
Seriously.
And that's correct. That's the right way to look at it. Both of you guys are the right way to look at it. I'm just telling you, when I saw Jake Elliott run out onto the field, I didn't write down in my notes, this is a horrible decision.
I just am like, what are you doing? There's no rhyme or reason to his messaging. He didn't learn anything from Monday night. And anybody who tries to spin to you, hey, they won the game and Sirianni pushed the right buttons. No, he did not. They survived their head coach. That can't be the case.
So here, let's play the clip, Connor. Sirianni cut 14, talking about the 4th down decisions. And then John's going to explain why he thinks he has the Nick Sirianni issues all figured out. Take a listen.
Just so anyone's wondering, Kellen on that 4th and 1 at the end of the half, I called that. Not Kellen. So I called that play at the end of the half. Kellen did not. I called it. That's what I thought was best for the football team at that particular case. That was my decision. I did it. It didn't work. And we'll get better. I'll get better from it. That's a play I thought was working in the best situation in that particular case, and it didn't work. And that's not on Kellen. That's not on the players. I put him in a bad spot, and I made that call.
Look, there will be people that will commend him for owning up to things, and part of me does too. But like we said earlier, at what point, what does it matter? If you keep on constantly making bad decisions.
If you don't learn from your mistakes.
Right. All right. So you have a hypothesis.
I think I figured it out.
All right, what do we got?
I figured it out, and I ran it by an NFL sideline reporter and a NFL reporter who has guested on this show before, who may talk about it today on the air, so not going to steal any headlines. I think Nick Sirianni, this is what's going on. He was taken to the SPCA and fixed this offseason by the owner in public. Everybody knows they waited 8 days to retain him. Everybody knows his teeth were taken away. But the one thing he gets to control is situational decision-making. He doesn't get to control anything else. He doesn't draw up the game plan. He doesn't dictate the defense. He doesn't do any of that. All he gets to do is make situational calls. Mm-hmm. And what he's trying to do is make the boldest move that says, man, that was a Nick Sirianni call. That was a Nick Sirianni's, this is this is the way I play. This is the way our team fights. This is the way we're going to be aggressive. And he's hurting his team because he doesn't have a feel. It's as if you drive that ball, and Kellen Moore's offense was getting yardage all day long. And then at the biggest point, you say, hey, Kellen, out of the driver's seat, I'm taking the wheel.
Yeah.
And then Nick Sirianni drives it right into the back of Haley's car. She got hit this weekend. Screw that guy. But it's the same thing. He, at the worst possible times, he takes the wheel and he crashes the car. And this year, he's got at least 4 of these that are terrible decisions, if not 5. He doesn't have any fingerprints on the game, so when he gets a chance, he's going bold.
Yeah, and you know what? I think one of the great examples you can point to outside of a game itself was last week's press conference, the midweek press conference, where he talked about his chart.
Me, I. He was using his chart yesterday.
Remember, he said, my chart. He said there's 20 different websites you can go to, and they will tell you to do this, to do that, but this is
my chart.
My chart. And it was like the weird contradiction where he says, I don't make decisions based off of paper, and then his next answer was,
I have a chart.
My chart told me to go for it in that situation. So it's like, well, hold on a second. Which one is it? Because you said you don't make decisions based off of paper, but you make a decision based off of your analysis, your research, your statistics.
The one thing that's clear, you cannot trust what Nick Sirianni says to be what Nick Sirianni does. And to me, it is the biggest indictment of a human being, let alone a football coach. I've said it to you many times. We talk about it all the time. One of the pleasures of working with my partners is I crave consistency.
Yes.
I am an order guy. I like order. I like to know how things are going to be, and things throw me off when they're not.
Handy dandy show sheet, baby.
When there's no order, I'm disrupted. I'm not going to be at my best. And to me, Nick Sirianni says one thing and does another, says one thing and does another. There's no consistency in the man, and I think he's hurting his football.
I know the show sheet says more reaction, and then coming up next, perfect day in the NFC. But we're going to talk about Michkov instead. I want you to break down his film.
Couple of assists.
No, we have to call my wife.
Yeah.
We have to call my wife, who is just all Michkoved up. She got her Michkov jersey the other night, her first hockey sweater. She's so excited.
That's great. Happy birthday.
We're not going to really be able to do that. We're not going to really be able to do that today.
No, not today. Now, we have multiple ways you can react. We have the phone line and text line. It's the same number at 610-632-0975. But we also have the Kincade and Salciunas post-game line. We tweet out the number at the end of every single game, win or lose. The number is 610-771-9759. I love this feature of the show because it's the real in-time emotional response. We had that poll that we went to that you put out yesterday when you overtook the social for the Fanatics Twitter account yesterday, and you asked the question, if the Eagles went down the field and scored the game-winning drive, is all is forgiven. 63% said no. I bet you if you asked that exact same question today, I think it would flip, because I think people are happy that they woke up, they won, they saw how the rest of the NFL played out, and it wasn't pretty for the rest of the NFL.
I think it was like the perfect day. Except if the Cardinals had beaten the Lions, it would have been the absolute perfect day.
Right. So I wonder, how were people sounding yesterday during the Kincade and Salciunas postgame line?
You guys have talked about the great quarterback play of the previous 2 decades. Well, one thing that it did is it made me think I understood this game of football, when, as it turns out, I do not. Is Jalen Hurts a turnover machine or a clutch winner? I don't know. Were the Saints paper tigers, or did our defense show up and stop a great offense? I don't know. Does Nick Sirianni make worse decisions than a general who tries to invade Russia? Well, I think we know the answer to that one for sure. But I just don't understand the NFL anymore, man. Glad we got the win, but who saw 15-12 coming, huh? Go Birds.
Glad he got the win, but who saw that coming? I know, but I mean, 15-12.
No, look, anybody today who, the only thing I can spike the football on is that I don't remember the last time I said to you this morning, I've had the Eagles on the line, the betting line,
correct,
3 weeks in a row. That never happens, by the way. So you may want to start to fade it. But to me, the if anybody tells you they saw the Eagles holding the Saints to 12 points, they're full of it. Absolutely full.
Oh, no, we did have one. Our man Bill Brown. He tweeted us,
what did he say?
He tweeted out yesterday, right before the game started, I feel like a 41-3 Eagles win.
Well, no.
Clearly they didn't score 41 points.
There's no spiking the football.
But he tweeted out, it's at 5:30 this morning.
He
tagged that tweet and said, I'm going to gloat before you say today that no one saw that defensive performance coming.
You can't say, I saw a 38-point victory. That was a 3-point victory, and spike a football and say that you won.
Hey, but he said that the Eagles defense would keep that Saints offense grounded.
Hey, man, let him get those tweets off.
All
I love
it. What do we have on the text line? Then we'll get back to the phones as well. Same number, 610-632-0975.
All right. We have a lot of people checking in that are not exactly happy with you, Andrew, and the way that you started today's show.
People can celebrate the win.
You're not going to pander.
No.
This is him being honest.
Yeah, so
Go
we've
Eagles.
got absolutely. We have a check-in here from no name on this one, but they say it was a phenomenal defensive performance, but I can't get over the coaching ineptitude. The players won that game in spite of the head coach, which is the biggest takeaway. Still a nice win.
Yeah, and
I love it.
But that's the scary thing, right? Because here's the deal. Coaches make bad decisions all the time, right?
Right.
Any sport. Baseball, bullpen decision.
Sure.
Hockey, line change. Basketball, playing one guy over another
Rob
for whatever
Thompson
reason.
Pitching decisions in a postseason series.
Like, people make bad decisions all the time. The problem is there was already an uneasy feel toward Nick Sirianni coming into this season. Correct? Even you were pro him coming back.
But I also was uneasy, and I honestly said, you guys are making me doubt myself.
And now
Guess
through
what?
3
I'm glad.
weeks.
I told you. You were making me doubt myself during the summer, and I gave him too much grace.
And the scary thing is through 3 weeks, it's gotten worse each week.
No, it's worse.
Right, think about it. So he made some bad decisions week 1, but I also thought he handled the clock management really well, and we commended him for it. Week 2, he made bad decisions, but I understood the Saquon Barkley throw. I understood it. I just didn't agree with it. Yesterday, he made countless bad decisions. Thank God they won. But to that texter's point, he goes, yeah, I mean, it was a great defensive win and performance, and they won, even though the coach still made a lot of bad decisions. I don't think he's going to get better. Like, I don't think Nick Sirianni tomorrow is going to figure out a way to coach better.
Okay, but let's remember what happened back in 2021 when he was completely inept at calling plays. They got to a point in the season where somebody said this needs to change. Whether you believe it was him giving it up, whether you believe it was Shane Steichen taking it, whether you believe it was Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie intervening and saying, you can't do this anymore. Bottom line is they made the change. They didn't fire him, but they made the change in the season. We may get to a point this year where Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie say, Nick, dude, we've already taken away part of your responsibility in that little part. You're not getting the job done.
So he's literally just going to be the let me play some motivational videos during the week guy.
That's all he should be to me because everything else he is incompetent
I agree with
at.
you.
I know that Jeffrey Lurie did not take his family money and make it into what he's made it into without being a brilliant businessman.
Mm-hmm.
When him and Howie Roseman talked this week, they got to behind closed doors be rolling their eyes going, dude, we got the wrong guy. We have the wrong guy. He's the wrong guy. And look, it's become obvious. He's not the right guy to lead this team.
But John, what about the
Core values.
The core values, man.
Oh, I'm so tired of it.
Connects,
I said,
accountability,
it took till yesterday.
Communication.
It took till yesterday, but I finally said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. As far as this, I'm done giving him the benefit of the doubt on anything. On anything.
I think that's fair.
I wouldn't let him roll into the Wawa and order me a hoagie.
Well, if he did,
I could say to him,
that'd be a long order,
I could
man.
tell him an Italian special, oil and vinegar, light onions, and he'd screw it up. No, he'd go, you know what? I really thought you wanted roast beef today. I just decided at the last minute.
My chart told me John
I know
wanted
what you
roast
ordered.
beef.
I was thinking it's a roast beef kind of day, right, Johnny? Roast beef. God, he's honestly, he's just.
Let's
not.
go. Let's.
And notice I slipped our friends from Wawa in there. Though.
Oh, good work by you. Let's go to Ian in North Philly. Ian, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Hi, Ian.
So last year, John, you used to talk about how Hurts didn't throw with anticipation.
Yes.
You used to drum that.
Yes, absolutely. That's fair.
To.
That's fair.
He threw that pass to Devontae with anticipation of him running his route properly. Now, the fumble, that's on Hurts. That interception is on Devontae.
I'm not sure.
Now,
No, I don't believe. And as Greg Olson pointed out to you, yes, Devontae didn't do everything he was supposed to do, but that ball should not have been thrown.
Yeah, but he threw it with anticipation.
No, I understand.
It was a trust throw, but
it's a trust throw.
But it's a trust throw in the red zone when your offense has not been scoring points.
You got to be more careful when you become a
AJ though.
Yeah, but when you become a turn. Well, the thing is,
that's not AJ.
I believe if that route was run with AJ or even Dallas Goedert,
a more strong-bodied,
physical-bodied guy. I'm not ripping Devontae, by the way, who is tough as freaking nails. And Ian,
I think he's the reason that it was an interception.
And Ian, you are absolutely correct. I think Devontae was the primary person about why that happened. But what I will tell you is, as was pointed out, you can't throw that ball. You got to have more anticipation.
And thanks for the call.
And
Ian.
Also, too, you are absolutely correct that last year I did harp on that all the time.
But it was still a reckless throw.
I wouldn't go as far as
I don't think it was reckless.
No,
I think it was just unaware that you're seeing what's happening Before he pulls the trigger, you see what's coming. The ball is still in
Tyrann
Hurts'
Matthew
hand.
saw what was coming.
Yes, and
by the way,
thing
that guy's
is,
still a stud.
Honey Badger is freaking awesome.
That guy, he's bounced around the league a little bit, and he's still plays
awesome.
at a high level. That dude's 32 already. Unbelievable. All right, coming up next, we have touched on it. We'll talk more about it coming up next. It was almost a perfect day in the NFC for the Eagles. Despite how the game went, the Eagles got a win, and a lot of other teams did not. We'll go through that coming your way next, and we'll get to more of your reaction as well. It's Kincade and Salciunas on a Football Monday right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
It is 7:32 on a Victory Monday morning, a football Monday on the Fanatic, presented by Pierce Phelps, Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit nopaybryant.com. So yesterday, the Eagles won. Great.
Thanks for the headline.
Great, the Eagles won. Even though it wasn't pretty, the Eagles won. And right now, I will give you this, through 3 weeks there, that you could be in a worse spot. You could be 1-2. You could be 0-3.
Much worse.
And if you look around the NFL, there is just some amazing things happening. This league, man, I know people say that about the NBA all the time. But seriously, this league, like, what the hell is going on? In the NFC, the 49ers lose yesterday. And I get it. A lot of it had to do with the injuries. But, dude, they're up 14-0 after the first quarter. One of my picks was 9 or 6.5 because I didn't see how the Rams would be able to put up points. And I was right through the first quarter.
You were right till almost like halfway through the third quarter.
Yeah, the Rams scored 13 in the fourth.
Yeah, and then Kyron Williams happened.
Yeah.
And that was a perfect ball by Matthew Stafford.
It was. Matt Stafford.
Now he's got targets.
Very talented.
He's got targets.
But, the Niners lose, so they fall to 1-2. The Lions beat the Cardinals. That's the one kind of blemish in terms of the perfect day of the NFC. It would have been the
perfect day.
But they're only 2-1 because they had that loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, by the way, lost to the Broncos. They were down 14-0 in a blink of an eye to a bad Bronco. I know Bo Nix has actually done some decent things for Denver this year, but that's a bad Broncos team. And then you look at the Cowboys. They lose. Now, they made it a game, scoring 19 points in the fourth quarter. But
mainly
you see a lot of issues with that team.
Poor clock management by
Johnny Harbaugh.
That was not a good day for him.
No.
Not a good day for him.
No. And then the Falcons, who beat you last week, they lose to the Chiefs yesterday. The only teams that are 3-0 in the NFC are the Vikings and the Seahawks, and let's be honest.
I'm not worried about either one of them
exactly.
beating you, right?
So, yes, the Eagles, as much as I can point out to the flaws that I'm very upset about, and I need to keep a close eye on these things and whether or not they're going to get better, they pulled out the win. A lot of these teams did not. And you just look around the landscape of the NFC, there's not many teams that are plus 500 right now, and there's only 2 teams that are undefeated, and nobody's losing sleep over the Seahawks or the Vikings, with all due respect to the Thomas family.
Yeah, none needed.
Nobody's losing sleep over the Vikings.
That Vikings team still isn't that good.
No, they're not. They're not that good.
So, a good day for the Eagles in the NFC. And then, look, if you even look around the rest of the league, man, it's just not pretty. The teams that a lot of people thought would be doing some dangerous things, like the Texans, you've been talking about C.J. Stroud.
Well, I mean, C.J. Stroud, I was told, was this. I saw quarterback rankings where he was in the top 3 or top 5, and I couldn't believe what people were doing.
Yeah, well, I would say name me the quarterback that's like playing well this year.
No, but he's not. There's not. You just don't anoint. Look, I'm just going to say that the Chicago Bears, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, man.
I just don't. I didn't see it coming out.
Don't forget their one win was when Caleb Williams threw for 6 yards.
I didn't see it with Caleb Williams coming out. I never saw him do a damn thing when there was any kind of pressure on him or a good team in college. He looks really bad to start. But maybe he should have sat. You know what I mean? Maybe he should have sat. They didn't do him a favor, maybe.
No. By the way, shout out to franchise quarterback Andy Dalton with the big day that he had against the Raiders. The Panthers get their first win. But ultimately, great day for the Eagles in terms of standings and records. Was it a great day for you watching that football game where you are filled with confidence, or not so much like I am? 610-632-0975. Let's go to Tom in Alabama. We'll get to the text line as well. What's up, Tommy?
Yo, Salciunas. How you doing?
What's up, Tom?
What's up, Tom?
John, you look marvelous, darling.
Thank you, buddy. Get us off speaker. You take us off the speaker if you can.
The thing about it is, sorry about that.
That's all right.
The thing about I feel happy about the fact that we went and we won a football game with a defense that was basically non-existent, and I feel happy that I have a defensive coordinator who made adjustments when they needed to be made. The fact that the Eagles, went to the Superdome where they lost Super Bowl 15, and Hurts is he horrible decisions, but he has played well enough, and he took the Eagles down the field without Smith or Brown at the end and scored that touchdown with Saquon Barkley. What can you say about Saquon Barkley? He's the reason they won yesterday. As far as the head coach goes, I have to be happy about the fact I know that I have an owner in Jeff Lurie who's comparable, as well as Dom Smolinski, the president, and general manager Howie Roseman. They see what's going on. And with that deal yesterday and the first 2 weeks, in the NFL, you will get run out of time as soon as you cannot fake it for only so long with the decisions he was making yesterday, which was a slap in the defense and the defensive coordinator's face. It was a complete show of disrespect. He wants to kick a 60-yard field goal instead of punting and giving it to your defense, who's broke their ass all day long, came out to play and showed up to play.
Dude, that's 2 weeks in a row. And thanks for the call, Tom. I mean, let's face it, the Eagles' defense played really well in week 2. The pass rush was not, and the rushing defense was not. But in terms of points, they allowed 15 points for the first 58 minutes of the football game against the Falcons.
They let up 15 points at that point, and as I said to you at that time, 7 teams in the NFL, 7, had given up less points at that same point in the game till Nick Sirianni did the bonehead move. And yesterday, are you kidding me? I mean, just like the Eagles gave up 12 to the New Orleans Saints.
No, it's great. But hear what you just said, and this is part of the reason why I'm down in the dumps today, right? Despite the Eagles winning. Nick Sirianni is a big reason why they lost the football game in week 2. Probably the biggest reason why they lost the football game in week 2. There is no reason, according to him, that they won yesterday. Like, he didn't do anything for the Eagles to win yesterday.
Right, and yet in a tougher spot against potentially a better opponent on the road without a lot of players, you did win. So guess what?
That's great.
Andrew, when you win the football game, there are more positives than negatives. There can be negatives, but every time you end up on the right side of that scoreboard, short of like when Carson Wentz blew out his knee and you beat the Rams, like short of a major injury to an important player, which I don't think we saw yesterday, we'll keep you updated on what happened with the guys, there have to be more positives than negatives when you win the football game.
And they gave up, as just to point it out to you, they gave up yesterday 12 freaking points.
No, I mean, the defense was tremendous.
12 points. Man. You know who gave up less points, like as far as was kept to 12 or the better than 12? The Texans gave up 7, only allowed to get 7. The Chargers scored 10. The Buccaneers scored 7. The Dolphins scored 3.
The Eagles defense showed up yesterday.
The Eagles were a top 4 defense. Eagles were a top 4 defense because points allowed is all that matters. Add up the score at the end of the game. I don't care about yards given up. I don't care about all your fantasy football stats that drive you nuts. How many points are given up? Let's do reality football. The Eagles were top. The Eagles for 2 weeks in a row have been one of the top defenses in the NFL at giving up points.
Absolutely. All right, what do we got on the text line?
And I didn't see it coming, so I'm not spiking the football.
No, I don't think anybody saw this guy. I think we all saw an improvement coming.
No, I saw improvement coming because I believed I'm a Fangio.
Yeah.
And I think you are too. You're all Fangios.
Steve from Bucks County checks in on the text line. He says, Andrew is actually really depressing me right now. I was excited after the game yesterday, but trying to pick apart the win after finding a victory down in New Orleans takes the joy out of what should be a big win for the team.
I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm not, because it's how I saw that game. And the Eagles got the win. Yip-de-doo. I'm very happy about that because
you can't do yip-de-doo.
Because that's the thing. Because they're 2-1.
That's being ridiculous.
They played 17 games.
I can't. But I'm not going to tell you that I felt a certain way for 58 minutes of a football game, and then all of a sudden say, "Oh, well, they won." So everything that I'm concerned about goes out the window. I can't do that.
You don't have to throw it out the window, but you have to understand how big wins are in the NFL.
Yeah, they're huge.
Like you had one in
But the next time you play like that again on the offensive side of the ball and coaching, you're probably going to lose that football game. Winning those games does not happen all that often.
Now wait a minute. I'm going to disagree with you there. Yes, the decision making on paper you would think that's going to cost you in other games. You also have played 3 opponents that all could win their division. There are a lot of games coming against teams that, despite Nick Sirianni's boneheaded moves and despite the quarterback's poor decision-making, won't be able to exploit it the same way.
I'm going to ask a question coming up next. and I want to get your honest reaction to it. All right? And maybe you'll see where I'm coming from today.
Okay.
All right? And then we're going to talk more about the defense because they do deserve to get a lot of flowers today because they absolutely balled out. We got to go through the snap chart, though.
Do we?
There was a guy that didn't play much. And you know what? Good for you, Vic Fangio. You went against Howie Roseman. Good for you.
He keeps going against Howie Roseman.
Good for you. And that's why having an adult in the room does matter.
Or is it good for Howie?
Find out. It's Kincade and Salciunas. I have a question to ask you guys all next right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Yesterday, the Eagles beat the New Orleans Saints to bring their...
and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic on a football Monday, presented by Pierce Phelps, Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning Contractors. Visit nopaybryant.com. All right, we're going to get into the defense and more of your reaction, but I have a question for you guys, which may paint the picture with how I'm feeling today.
Okay.
And I know I'm going to be asking a lot of you when I say, ignore the record for a second. Look, they're 2-1. They're in first place in the NFC East, and there's not many 2-1 teams in the NFC. And the two teams that have 3-0 records in the NFC, you're not afraid of when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks. Are you happy with the way the Eagles have played through 3 weeks this season?
Am I happy?
Are you happy with the way the Eagles have played as a team through 3 weeks this season?
I'm not unhappy.
No, I'm not unhappy either.
I would say I'm relatively neutral compared to my expectations.
My expectations, though, were that the offense was going to roll roughshod and the defense was going to be a work in progress and a bit of a struggle bus. And it's sort of been exactly the opposite.
My follow-up question, has this team played like the NFC Championship game appearance, not winner, appearance team that we expected coming into the season? Have they played like that?
Possibly. That's the thing. I'm not that good looking. If I'm in a beauty contest and everyone else is uglier than me, I'm still going to win. Like, you've got to look at the competition around the league.
Right. But my problem is, and I know you said ignore last year, I said the exact same thing last year. A lot of those teams that I said that about got better as the year went on.
Okay.
The Eagles have the opportunity to get better. But all I know is I saw this exact same thing play out last season.
Right, but you're treating it like it's week 10 of a season that started last year when the collapse started.
I think that's the key.
It's week 3.
And I think it is, and I hate to use the term because I had a gentleman, I don't want to use it. I think you have a stressor on you. I'm trying to avoid the term PTSD. A gentleman said to me, don't do it.
You have scars from the past.
You have scars from the past that you are allowing to really affect this year's view. This is not last year's team. This is a team with 2 competent coordinators. This is a team with a Saquon Barkley that is ridiculously good.
Yeah, look, with all due respect to the local guy, DeAndre Swift, Saquon Barkley's 50,000 times better than him. Like, it's my gosh,
it's not even close. And I got to tell you, the energy level that I have for Quinyon Mitchell right now.
He's great, dude.
Well, how about this? For a guy who is in his 3rd NFL game, he's really great.
Look, all I know is Derek Carr threw 142 passing yards yesterday. That was it. Chris Olave had a decent game yesterday. That's it. I mean, Quinyon Mitchell and Darius Slay. Is the secondary's balled out this year. You got to give him a lot of credit, man.
No, it's the truth. I mean, it's incredible to me. I am really so excited.
Yeah.
If cousin Ryan, the fireman, checks in, he says, if Connor's in a beauty contest, the entry is worse than the vision of Angel Hernandez.
Wow. Yeah, we're going to have issues if I'm up on stage trying to win anything for this appearance.
Now, if it was a country music, video and you were casting an extra,
it'd fit right in at home, man.
Beers and trucks.
All right, so one more thing before we get back to our phone calls and our texters.
Beers and trucks.
I want to celebrate Vic Fangio, not just the way he coached that defense for a second straight week. And I wasn't totally hating the defense in week 1 either. I mean, it was just, week 1 in Spain. He went against Howie Roseman.
Yes, he did.
Bryce Huff, Mr. $17 million man a year, 51 total over this contract, played just 18 snaps on defense yesterday, which totals to 32%. He don't give a damn what Howie Roseman thinks. Because I know in years past, certain guys should not have been on the field, but were on the field because of what they were getting paid.
Or is it what Howie Roseman thinks?
What do you mean?
Here's where I'm going to give Howie some credit. Is Howie saying, Vic, you do what's best for this football team to win games. I'm setting my ego aside, and I'm not going to tell you that you need to play this guy.
Okay.
So I'm going to give Howie a ton of credit because I really do sort of believe that maybe he's got this, that Howie's saying to him, look, don't you worry about the guy I brought in here. You worry about doing what you got to do to win us football games.
Okay.
And I admire that because that would mean ego was set aside.
Well, and remember, both of those guys in this conversation are here because of Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman hired Vic Fangio.
Oh, Nick told us that he hired.
Sure he did. Howie Roseman hired Vic Fangio. or was part of that conversation. He was also the reason Bryce Huff was here. If Howie Roseman learns that he can't evaluate defensive players to the level that he would like to, then you put checks and balances in place with a defensive coordinator who's going to play the right guys, and you live with it. And I think that's what they did.
By the way, one more thing. Hey, there's something in the Eagles' waters at NovaCare that when it's your last year, you ball out. Fletcher Cox last season, Brandon Graham this season so far.
That you just...
It's amazing, dude.
No, it is amazing.
And I know it doesn't show up much on the stat sheet. I think he only had one tackle yesterday, but there was that play. I know they highlighted it when the Saints went for it on fourth down. And I forget who made the tackle. It might have been Jordan Davis who made the tackle, but Brandon Graham took on two blockers and pushed them back. He pushed them back, which made Alvin Kamara hesitate. He couldn't hit the hole that they were trying to create. Brandon Graham's having a good start to this season, man. It's unbelievable.
No, he really is. It truly is. It's pretty incredible. I'm dumbfounded how much they're getting out of him.
It's unbelievable. It's back-to-back years with the guy in the last year, before they leave. All right, coming up next, we will speak with Andrew DiCecco at 8:10. I'm curious to hear what he says because Andrew's not an Eagles fan. He is a journalist. He's a reporter. He's an analyst, right?
Yes.
So,
he doesn't play the...
There's no bias.
No, there's no bias.
So I'm curious to hear what he has to say about this game because, I'm on a totally different platform than you guys are during this show today. So I wonder where Andrew DiCecco falls in line here. Also, it's week 3 of the Monday morning radio host, which we all agree Nick Sirianni was horrible yesterday.
Yes.
So this is where we will find common ground for the next 10 minutes. We play a couple of clips from Nick Sirianni's post-game press conference, and what we do best is react to what other people say. So we'll hear what Nick Sirianni had to say during the post-game press conference yesterday, and we'll give our analysis to what the head coach had to say. It's Kincade and Salciunas on a Victory Monday morning right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Yes, coming up at 10, it's the Mike Missanelli Show. Coming up in 10, Andrew DiCecco will join us for his to check in. I did see, speaking of the Mike Missanelli Show, Bill Colarulo, Billy Sirianni, he posted a video on his Twitter account after the game ended. He did the good, the bad, the ugly. And the ugly was Nick Sirianni's decision-making. He's going against the family, man.
Thanksgiving's going to be awkward now.
And I'd like to point out that if you Fox and ESPN, both on their network morning shows, used their comedy segments to make fun of Nick Sirianni's decision-making. And I know that Bill's going to go down. The building's on fire, and he's going to be the last one to leave with Nick. He's going to be carrying Nick down the ladder.
I don't know. He started to go against the family member yesterday.
They were making fun of his decision-making from last week.
Yeah. What do you think next week will be?
And then he just doubled down. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of Nick Sirianni, we do this every single day after a game, mostly Mondays, but obviously the Eagles played Monday night last week, so we did it on Tuesday. It's time now for the Monday morning radio host.
Now, the Monday morning radio host on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Yes, the Monday morning quarterback, you know that from Peter King. He broke down all the quarterback play, all the stuff in the NFL from his armchair, right? The armchair expert. Well, we're experts when it comes to talking, John. At least,
just ask us.
At least we think. We do a lot of it. So the Monday morning radio host is our chance to react to a lot of what Nick Sirianni had to say.
Yep.
And yesterday was not a good day for the head coach, despite the Eagles winning. Here he is talking about overcoming mistakes and Johnny the players having his back.
An interception, whether it's a fumble, whether it's me going for it in a fourth down scenario and we don't get it, you got to overcome those things. And I'm so proud of those guys that they did that. It's just showed such a resilience and a team, right? A team plays together. A team has each other's back. I can't tell you how many times Saquon and Jordan, Mailata, and Chauncey came up to me as like, man, we got your back. We got your back, coach. I mean, this is a hard place to play. This is a hard place to win.
He sound like that. He sound like T.O. That's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback,
That's my quarterback. He sounded like he was about to cry.
And I love when people do the other person's voice.
Yeah.
When they talk about, this is what someone said to me. Connor said, yeah, John, I love you, man.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good impression.
But come on.
The we got your back. I said it to you guys earlier.
Oh, my gosh.
He made sure to say that yesterday.
He
made sure to let people know that players have his back.
I don't want to say he's a phony, but he's such a try-hard.
No, he's a man who's losing grips on what he wants, which to be the head coach of this team is what he wants.
Yeah.
He's losing that, and he's trying to defend it.
Now this one's totally selfish for me to play this one, but it's just a way to laugh. Here he is talking about, I don't know, a message from his son's baseball coach.
My son's baseball coach always says that when they make a mistake in baseball, he's a really good coach, Coach Dan. He's like, so what? Now what? Like, if they make a mistake in baseball, so what? Now what? And that's what they did. You know, so what? We made a mistake.
With all due respect to Coach Dan.
We got to get over it. Now what?
With all due respect to Coach Dan, I don't need to hear about Coach Dan from the Philadelphia Eagles head football coach.
Yeah, but Coach Dan's a really good baseball coach.
So is his brother at Mount Union. His dad texted him after the game, said, hey, score more points next time.
And his dad taught him that if a player makes a mistake, it's your fault. I can tell you this. Coached high school ice hockey for 6 years, elite club hockey. I never once said, my players made a mistake, it's my fault.
Yeah, sometimes the players can make a mistake, and it's not your fault.
Yeah, you could say it's their fault.
Now, hang on. Would Coach Dan have taken the points? Because this may be an important guy to know about down the road this season.
He probably plays small ball. He's probably a good coach, man.
I would
Coach
tell you,
Dan.
if Quinyon Mitchell had returned that interception that he dropped for a touchdown, for a pick six, I guarantee you Nick Sirianni would have declined the points.
Probably. He said, I don't want these.
I don't want this.
It's not a good learning experience. By the way, speaking of mistakes, here's Sirianni talking about them.
Like, I just want everyone to know, like, if the product on the field is not, like, if we make a mistake, a player makes a mistake, it's not on that player. It's always on me and me first. Nobody else. It's on me first. Because I was taught early in this game by my dad that if you coach it, if you're not coaching it, all right, and something happens on that field, that's your responsibility. That's nobody else's responsibility. That's being a man, and that's taking that's what being a man's about, right? Taking responsibility for that you're in charge of, and that's my responsibility. So, first and foremost, the interception's on me.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I respect it.
Really?
Well, no. I respect taking accountability. I do. Right? Like, If I make a mistake on the show, I will take. I'm not going to say, well, but Connor, or well, but Haley, or well, but Brandon Gunn.
Better not keep our name out
like
your
if I
mouth.
make a mistake, I make a mistake, right? But it gets to a point where that falls on deaf ears. Like the whole, well, it's on me. I'm a man. All right.
My gosh.
Well, okay, you might be a man, but you might be a dope.
That sounded so. That just sounded that part. The baseball coach one. I'm so glad you chose. I laugh at that one. It's like there is the amount of people that pop into his explanations about why he does things. His kid's baseball coach didn't have it on the bingo card. Didn't. And then my dad taught me from a young, and that's about being a man. Oh my God!
But you know, and I know he's not going to give much on a press conference in terms of how to fix things. But every clip that we've played so far, minus the Suns baseball coach thing, Coach Dan, shout out to you. It's all about it's my fault. It's me. But nothing's ever fixed. Like I saw 2 months of a team not fix something last year.
Here's the thing: I don't think he's disingenuous. I just don't think he knows what he's doing.
I do. I will accuse him of being disingenuous.
I think he does it.
Because you know when a player makes a mistake, it's not his fault that he says if we don't coach something. Jalen Hurts throwing that ball. As Greg Olson says, Devontae had to do more, but it probably wasn't a good play to draw up for a guy of Devontae's slight nature.
No.
But he's got to know not to throw that ball. That's not on Nick Sirianni. That's on Jalen Hurts.
But in his heart of hearts, I believe he believes what he's saying. I just think it's stupid.
I think he says a lot of his stuff to be like, look, I'm a leader.
I'm the one.
I'm a good coach. I do this. I do that. But when it comes to the actual football things, like it's great that he is a leader and all that kind of stuff. When it comes to football, he's not good at it. And that's the problem. Here he is talking about his quarterback who won the football game, Jalen Hurts.
This guy is a freaking winner. He won at Alabama. He won at Oklahoma. He won. He's been like he's been winning here over and over and over and over. And you know what? We're the Philadelphia Eagles, so we understand we're going to get criticism. But this dude's a freaking winner. Jalen Hurts is a winner, and he won today.
He's a winner, Johnny.
That's good.
I don't really have anything to say to that clip. He's a winner. He needs to clean things up. He does. But again, I will give him. Jalen Hurts deserves credit. He made the plays to get down the field to score again in order to win.
He did.
And last week, despite Saquon, like he put the ball in the perfect spot for Saquon Barkley to catch that ball. He just needs to clean up these turnovers, man. He has to.
And the thing is, though, I'm tired of hearing that because it's now 20 games.
Yeah, and you can't say it's an early season when
because it was all
happened last year. Right, exactly.
When you were the worst quarterback in the NFL last year, turning the ball over, and now you're doing it again.
All right, last one before we get to Andrew DiCecco. Here he is talking about the decision-making on fourth down.
Just so anyone's wondering, Kellen on that 4th and 1 at the end of the half, I called that, not Kellen. So I called that play at the end of the half. Kellen did not. I called it. That's what I thought was best for the football team in that particular case. That was my decision. I did it. It didn't work. And we'll get better. I'll get better from it. This play I thought was working in the best situation in that particular case, and it didn't work. And that's not on Kellen. That's not on the players. I put them in a bad spot, and I made that call.
All right, there's the Monday morning radio host. We'll speak with Andrew DiCecco momentarily. But yeah, I mean, look, the fourth down decision making, like it's been bad every week now.
By the way, as my buddy John Maley points out, a hurricane. Category 1 hurricane could hit Tampa on Thursday.
Okay.
Coming into this game, so they could also be dealing with some of that.
Good thing you have Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts to run.
But I think next weekend should be fine and dry, but maybe the NFL should move the game now to Philly.
Just bring it up here?
I think they should just do that.
Why not? Let's give the Eagles home field advantage.
Do that. They've done that before in the NFL.
Let's do it. All right. Joining us now on the Comcast Business Hotline. Every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business help you move forward with what's next. From Inside the Birds, and of course here on 97.5 The Fanatic. He does a tremendous job, and I'm excited to talk to him, Johnny, because he's not an Eagles fan, right? So he covers the Eagles. We have been coming from different directions in response to what happened yesterday. Would love to get an unbiased opinion on this one. Andrew DiCecco joins us. Andrew, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, good morning. I'm great. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. It's been a strange show because it is a victory Monday in which they won, but it wasn't pretty. So first things first, before we even start asking you specific questions, the floor is yours to give your reaction to what happened in New Orleans yesterday.
Well, I thought that game, Andrew, really best encapsulated the Eagles' ability to persevere. When you look at the coaching lapses, the injuries, the turnovers, the punt block in the second half, I just think that those, when you put all those together, there's no way, at least in theory, that a team should be able to win that game. But I thought, starting from the quarterback, the running back, the tight end, I thought their key players in that game really stepped up in the winning moments of that game, and they had to have the situation. And that to me was the big storyline. But you have to tip your hat to Vic Fangio and that Eagles defense, always surrendering 12 points to the Saints. That was a masterful game plan from Fangio. I think he deserves the game ball, and they were playing inspired football. And I think that if without their performance, obviously, they wouldn't be in that game.
When you think of last year and the problems this team had, and then you look at this team through 3 weeks, why do you tell people this year might just be different?
That's a game that they lose last year, John. I think you can agree with that.
I would agree.
When things aren't going your way and they start to snowball, the Eagles found a way to make it work. There's the buy-in. It was a motivated team. I mentioned to you guys last week how that locker room was on Monday night when they lost that game. It was quiet. They took umbrage with it, and they knew what they needed to do to win and take it to the Saints on Sunday. There was never any semblance of complacency there. It was just a different vibe, whereas last season it just never quite felt right. To me, this is an inspired, motivated team, and I can't emphasize enough, this is a different locker room. Well, this roster has largely been turned over. So I think the messaging is resonating, and the players are fully bought in, and they're playing for one another, and you saw that because this is a game that would easily have slipped away last season.
Now, Andrew, I'm not in a good place today. All right, I'm being honest with you. I'm not in a good place. I'm not in a good place today, even though the Eagles won the football game yesterday. Part of the reason, and look, I'm trying not to compare this year to last year because the circumstances last season were crazy. And you mentioned it's a different locker room, it's a different team, but there are two constants from last year to this year: Nick Sirianni and poor decision making, which we saw again yesterday, and Jalen Hurts and the turnover issues, which we once again saw yesterday with 2 more turnovers. I don't see those things just ending anytime soon. I don't see Nick Sirianni all of a sudden making good decisions and Jalen Hurts all of a sudden not turning the football over when it's been a constant since week 1 of last year.
No, that's fair to say. I would say this team is more talented and better equipped to overcome some of those things, but you can't face that type of adversity every single week. Obviously, you don't want to win in spite of your head coach, but I think in terms of the turnovers with Jalen Hurts, I don't know if you can be coached out of some of those things, Andrew, but I think there are certain circumstances that you could, as a coach like Kellen Moore, sort of emphasize and have him be mindful of, maybe put him in better positions or take certain throws out of the equation because you can't throw. That was another pass over the middle, Devontae. And yes, Devontae probably could have run a better route, could have gotten his hand in there, but Jalen can't throw that pass in that moment. But, I think situationally Sirianni obviously has to be a lot better, but fortunately for the Eagles, they were able to overcome that.
When you look at what Kellen Moore is doing, I look at it almost like through 3 games, it's been a little bit Kellen-less. Is that all A.J. Brown's absence, or is it something else that's maybe frustrating you?
Well, oddly enough, John, we go back to our patience discourse in the summer. I was less patient with the defense because of Vic Fangio, because they've been running variations of that scheme for the past few seasons, and a lot of those players are still there. But with Kellen Moore, you bring up an interesting point, because I do think that the offense hasn't had the same level of creativity that we envisioned or that we maybe even saw in week 1. But I think it could be a direct byproduct of not having A.J. Brown. But you might only be able to use that excuse for week 2, because now you've had a week to prepare without A.J. Brown, and there were certain things he did really well. Jalen had a good answer for the blitz. There was outlet receivers. There was motion. I thought that play, that crossing route to Dallas Goedert with 1:16 left on that 3rd and 16, where Goedert comes across and Jahan Dotson draws. He pulls up just in front of that linebacker, and it was just so well timed and everything. They're not making those plays last year. So you do see the innovation at times, but it doesn't maybe look as you don't see the wholesale changes that maybe a lot may have expected 3 weeks in.
How well received do you think it is when Howie Roseman looks at the snap count and sees his big edge rusher playing 32% of the snaps? Deservedly so, by the way. But how well received do you think it is for Howie Roseman when he sees that this morning?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know how you guys felt, but watching that game, I'm like, I don't see Bryce Huff out here a lot. I can't wait to see.
I tweeted it out yesterday. I said, honest question: has he done anything today? Like, I did not know. I wondered if I missed something.
He still doesn't have any stats, but he. I think Vic kind of took that into his own hands and opted not to play him as much and go with bigger-bodied linemen on the outside to really contain the edge and anchor. But I think if you're Howie Roseman, to answer your question, Andrew, you have to be a little bit. It's at the front of mind. It doesn't look great. The optics aren't great, especially when presumably Vic's free agent addition, Zach Vaughn, I'm sure he lobbied for him. He did play very well. He had another double-digit tackle game and was everywhere. And Howie's, the Eagles' big-ticket free agent addition, hasn't factored yet into the stat column. So I think you have to be a little bit self-aware, and it's probably eating away at you, I imagine, even 3 weeks in.
Tell me about the Dogs, because so much has been finger-pointed and otherwise, deservingly so, about the Georgia Bulldogs players not really living up to capabilities. What do you think about what you've seen out of them so far?
You know, I thought they answered the bell, at least on Sunday, John, really. Jordan Davis, to me, going into this, and you, me and Andrew spoke about this earlier this week, I thought that Jordan Davis had to be and was the Eagles' most important defensive player because we looked at what Alvin Kamara was doing to teams. But he picked up a sack for the first time since last season against the Vikings. Jalen Carter, to me, was playing like a man possessed. He was disrupting the line of scrimmage. He was resetting the line of scrimmage, getting into the backfield. The Saints did not have an answer for him. Linebacker play was inspired. Zach Vaughn, Kobe Dean, they were everywhere. And I think that was a direct byproduct of the defensive line play. Then the secondary was rangy. They got their hands on the football. Reed Blankenship comes out with another takeaway. But for the Bulldogs, the Kobe Dean and Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter were exceptional.
Andrew, what can the Eagles do with Nick Sirianni? And I'm not saying firing the guy, but he is the head coach. He still has final say on decisions, like when to go for it, when not to go for it on fourth down. And he graded out like an F, in my opinion. You might have a different one. I think he failed yesterday as the head coach of the football team. Is there anything they can do? Is there anything that he can do differently?
It's tough because when you are the CEO, head coach, Andrew, your job description is to take that 30,000-foot view, take a step back, and be able to have your hand in everything. Run everything effectively. And you could argue that he's sort of regressed. It's been worse. It's been getting worse. I'm not exactly sure what you can do in that situation if you take even less responsibility from him. If you have a consultant where you have to run by certain decision making in critical moments by them, but there's not a lot that the Eagles can do right now. I think Nick maybe is getting a little heavy-handed. I think that might be fair to say based on some of the answers if we're able to infer. But they're going to have to figure that out. And through 3 weeks, I think that should be at the forefront and at the top of the list and things to work out.
Is the storyline of the week just going to be watching the injury report? Would you believe?
I have to think so. And by the way, you have to tip your cap to right guard Tyler Steen, right tackle Fred Johnson. It is so hard to come in mid-game, especially when you go through a week of practice where you're not getting first-team reps. You go out there, you execute at a high level. In that environment, I think that's. I mean, there's not much more you can say about that. Fred Johnson is one of the best stories on that Eagles roster, so he finally got his opportunity. But if Lane Johnson can't play, let's say, guys, Fred will be there. Ty Becton with the finger injury, that's something to keep an eye on. Devontae Smith with the concussion. Sometimes players clear that injury with that different timelines. But, for example, Johnny Wilson was out for over 2 weeks in the summer with that. So you never can really tell, but you have to keep an eye on that, especially with as many key players as the Eagles have that came out of that game with injuries, including Darius Slay, by the way.
I got one more for you, Andrew. And it's a conversation that we're going to get into later on in the show, but I'm curious to get your reaction to it. So they won the football game, and that's hard. Winning football games is not easily done. And Saquon Barkley talked about that yesterday. How long until that message runs dry in the locker room? And I'm not saying that as radio guy. It ran dry last year in the locker room where they kept on saying, oh, well, we're winning football games. And then they got spanked by the Niners, and everything went awry after that. At what point do they realize, all right, we're not playing good enough football despite us winning football games?
I think with the new look locker room, Andrew, you have a little bit longer of a shelf life. Saquon Barkley, by the way, is a tremendous leader. So adding someone like that who isn't coming from a winning culture, Jalen Hurts is taking on more. You're going to have. I think the voices are going to resonate a little bit more this time to make sure that you don't go wide left. You don't let the season go to waste, because there were some players here that were in leadership roles that saw exactly how it went last season. And I have to believe that they're going to see it before it happens and be able to kind of nip it in the bud and make sure that it doesn't become an ongoing issue. But it's something that they're obviously going to have to be mindful of, because, yes, they are 2-1. Probably shouldn't be. I mean, in some instances, but, it's something to be mindful of given the circumstances that transpired last season.
Andrew, we appreciate it, man.
I'm telling you, DiCecco, you're really going places, man. Yeah. I'm telling you, you're really impressing us. You are calm. You're a calm voice.
He is a calm voice.
You're a calm voice on a Monday where we're sort of
all over
very
the place.
Fired up.
And I'm looking forward to another hour with you on Friday, brother.
Yeah, we got Fan Fest coming up this weekend. I look forward to hanging with you guys.
You're the man. There he is, Andrew DiCecco on the Comcast Business Hotline.
I can't wait till everybody meets Andrew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because he is. He's like
football guy, man.
He's so low key, but he's so inspired into what he's talking about.
Yep.
And does he make you feel a little better?
No.
No? Okay, I got to tell you that I got issues with you.
I don't think God himself could come down to tell Andrew the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl.
The big man might help me.
I'd help you.
All right, so I wanted to have this conversation in the 9 o'clock hour, but think about what I just asked Andrew at the end there. When does that message run dry? Just think about it. We're not going to get into it yet, because coming up next, one guy that will never lose his edge is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And his post-game media availability to his locker was awesome. We'll play that for you coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports.
Kincade Salciunas.
Premature ejaculation on your part.
Excuse me?
There you are. You were a little excited.
That was a long bed, man.
That was a really long bed.
All right, so I was just saying to you guys during the break, violation. I didn't even tell you what it was.
You squealed about that.
Violation. This is horrible. Horrible planning.
No, I can't wait.
All right, we're going to play you something from Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in a minute. I just saw a video tweeted out from the NFL's Twitter account.
Okay.
So last night was Chiefs-Falcons.
All right.
And I get it, undrafted free agent, but Carson Steele was on the roster for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
The video is of the Steele family watching the game from Carson Steele's sister's wedding. How do you
wait a minute
plan a wedding on a Sunday during football season? It's one thing.
Because they didn't think he's an undrafted. They didn't expect
but he made the roster.
They didn't
When do
you think they planned the wedding?
Yeah.
You think they planned the wedding a month ago?
No.
He was not expected to be on the Chiefs roster.
Dude,
he wasn't expected to make the team in July.
So then they didn't believe in their brother. Violation. They didn't believe in the brother to make an NFL roster.
She planned it a year out.
She didn't think he'd make the team.
No, she didn't think he'd be in the NFL.
He's a fullback with an alligator.
And then that's a bad sister.
No, it's not.
She didn't believe in her brother.
You're out
violation.
of your mind. You're out of your mind.
Absolute violation. First off, people already say it's a violation to set a wedding on a Sunday during football season to begin with.
Well, hey, I'm gonna say it was. We had the girls yesterday were at a family a baby shower.
Okay.
My cousin Carly, and I'm like, look, it's Eagles season.
Yeah.
I said
so that alone is a violation.
That could be a violation.
But the sibling of an NFL player.
He wasn't an NFL player when they planned the wedding.
That's a violation. That means she did not believe in her brother.
Nobody believed in her brother.
Yeah, he went undrafted.
Nobody believed. Not even her brother. What about the parents?
Her brother didn't believe in her brother. Did you hear the story? I don't know if you were watching the game or not.
I have the audio.
No, but it was during one of the commercials.
Okay.
That Andy Reid saw him on Tuesday Night Maction and wrote down his name.
Oh, yeah.
And told the scouting department, let's watch this guy. Then last year, he sat down to watch that team again. He wasn't on the team, and he goes, where'd he go?
He went to UCLA.
And he went to UCLA, and he really didn't make much of a splash. But Andy literally he watches Maction.
Because he's a genius.
He's really smart. He's really smart.
Well, I say violation on Carson Steele's sister.
Nah,
booking a Sunday wedding when her brother's in the NFL. Violation. All right, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. First things first. Let's just get this out of the way. He's been pretty bad.
No, he has really been
First,
bad.
let's just get that out of the way. He's not played well. He had the big tackle in week 2. Other than that, he's not been good. That Olave touchdown.
Oh my gosh.
Where are we going, dude?
But he's been beaten twice badly.
Yeah,
twice bad.
Last week was it Mooney? Was it Mooney or McLeod? Who had the
Ray McLeod?
Ray McLeod had the big touchdown that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson got beat on. He's had a rough start.
It's a real rough start.
It's still in favor of the signing. There's no revisionist history here.
No, we all wanted it.
I'm celebrating that signing. But you know what? Part of the reason why you brought him back was not just his ability to play on the field, which I expect to get better. Part of you bringing him back was you did not have a mentality on defense last year, a tough mentality. You had guys that were journeymen playing for one more year in the NFL. You had guys making business decisions in a playoff game, Kevin Byard. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson brings an attitude, and his post-game media availability at his locker yesterday was just incredible. Take a listen.
Take us through the final drive. Derek Carr had the interception.
We knew he was going to give us one all game. Everybody want to bait on. They thought they had us on a little 7 route to Olave. Okay, cool, but ain't nothing go over our head all day. We got the best secondary, best D-line, best front 7 in the league right now. And I'm popping it because at the end of the day, they said we was down and out. They don't about last week. Now look at you now.
That's been the top offense in the league coming into today.
Man, we're in top what? Top what? Top what?
The best part, Con.
Top what? Top what? Ain't nothing get over that top from shout out to Slade, shout out to Q, shout out to Vontae, shout out to Reed, shout out to Ringo, shout out to Coach CP, shout out to Coach JK. Hey, man, we the best secondary in the league. That's the case.
What did you have to play through today?
We ain't played through nothing. Played through my teammates. I'm not worried about somebody. Listen, we keep receipts. That's what I told y'all in the locker room. See y'all Sunday. But I told y'all a couple days before, they got rid of me. I ain't get rid of them. It's still in me. It's still talent on me. I ain't worried.
I love that. Look, that's a mentality they didn't have last year.
No, it isn't. I mean, you're right. They did not have it. They didn't. He's just, I don't know.
He's got to play better.
I'd pipe down when I'm playing that poorly.
Yeah, he's got to play better.
He's playing poorly.
Yeah, he is.
He is. I would pipe down.
Well,
that's just like Nick Sirianni pumping his chest after a victory that he literally stumbled. They had to grab defeat from the jaws of victory due to his buffoonery, and he's there spiking the football after the game like he's Vince freaking Lombardi.
Right.
I would just suggest humility's fine when you win and you didn't play well.
Well, that's it. It's part of his role,
I find
Johnny.
him very humorous.
I know but
I think it's humorous in sort of a bad way.
He's just the one thing about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and this is not a CJ This is a lot of NFL players. The celebrating when he made a tackle yesterday when the Saints. It was the 3rd and short, and the Saints got the first down, and he celebrated making the tackle. I was like, well, dude, they got the first down. Like, what are you?
Gosh, what are you doing?
But that's not just a CJ thing. That's how many times have we seen the cornerback get beat on a route and the quarterback makes a horrible throw and the cornerback's doing the Matumbo, wagging the finger like you did something. Makes me laugh.
But he keeps that energy regardless, man.
He does. All right, let's go back to the phone. Let's go to June in Philly. What's up, June?
Good morning, fellas.
How you doing, man?
What's up, buddy?
What's up, John Kincade and Andrew? I haven't talked to you
June,
in a while.
it is great hearing from you,
buddy?
man.
Good to hear your voice.
Great hearing from you.
Oh, man. I'm still in the dumps from last season. I actually been in the dumps since Jalen fumbled our Super Bowl away. So,
I remember you talking about the curse 2 years ago, June. Trust me. I remember our conversations.
Oh, man, it's like, I don't know, and this coach is very immature.
He is. And by the way, it's not any better. It's not any better.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you like this. Yesterday when I was more excited that the Cowturks lost than my actually own team winning. That's bad, right?
Yeah,
that's bad.
That's pretty bad.
That's bad. Yeah.
That's bad. So, Andrew, me and you in the same boat, and we're going to throw these 3 games out since they don't play in the preseason, which I think they should, and we'll see where they go from there because the offense, I had the same, things. I think this offense should put up easy 30 points a game. Defense catch up to them. But what we've seen is the reverse right now. We had one 30-point game, and that was it. So,
and look, they have the ability to get better, right, June? Thanks for the call, brother. Great hearing from you. They have the opportunity to get better.
No, they do. I mean, and nobody's saying that.
I just need to see it. Now, I saw it with the defense. I told you last week I needed to see the pass rush get home before I could start saying this defense is going to be a big part of this team.
Sure.
They got home.
They did.
The offense has every right to start saying, hey, Andrew, this is what you were excited about. We'll prove it to you.
Yep.
All right, coming up next, we'll get more of your reaction. Texts, calls, and something that I asked for that didn't go my way yesterday. And it needs to change. It needs to change.
Didn't go your way?
It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Birds Insider Update.
Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. We saw Ray Dunn and Bill Colarulo during the break. I don't think Billy and Nick are going to be hanging out at Thanksgiving.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm glad. Look, it's like Brad, my buddy Brad back in Atlanta, we lived next door to Brad. And Brad's company literally will kidnap your child for you or somebody to get them out of a tough situation. They literally are like, they're ex-military and they're actually like mercenaries.
Oh, okay.
And if your kid got caught up in a cult, your kid was living your kid was living on the street somewhere and you couldn't, they will literally come get your kid, take him, help him, get him back to safety, wherever it is. I actually was thinking I was going to call Bill. I was going to call for Bill. One day after when he's walking to his car, and he's a tough guy, so I would have had to have had two of the big burly guys come and get him, put him in a van, take him someplace safe, and deprogram him. But I'm glad, because one thing I know about Bill Colarulo, listening to him before he came here and then afterwards, is that he was going to be a man of integrity. And even he can say, there ain't no spin in this.
No.
There's no spinning this. This is a freaking disaster.
But I'm curious.
This is worse than Rich Kotite.
Yeah, no,
this is worse. And you guys didn't live that.
No.
This is worse than when Rich Kotite was the coach of the Eagles because of the frittering away of talent that's being done by this guy's decision-making.
And yet, we're celebrating a victory today.
That's unbelievable.
and they're 2-1. All right, we'll get back to the texts and calls. But something that happened again yesterday that I've been asking to not happen anymore. Dude, another bad opening drive for the Eagles offense.
Yeah, that was rough.
It's 0 for 3, and it's not good.
And I know week 1, you're behind the 8 ball because of the Saquon slip, and you're 2nd and 15. And that changes the script and all that kind of stuff. There was no excuse for last week where you go 6 plays and then the 7th is the punt. Yesterday, it's 4 plays and then the 5th is the punt. I don't know what the plan is. Oh, no, it was a 3 and out.
It was a 3 and out.
It was a 3 and out.
I'm sorry, I'm counting it. I'm counting in the kick return as well.
No, 3 and out.
Yeah, 3
and it was terrible.
A 3 and out to start. Like this is supposed to be like the easiest 15 plays of the game is your first scripted because you're either tied, down 3, or down 7. Right? There's no like, all right, we have to get down the field and score, or there's no we can just take our time in this one. Like it should be the easiest 15 plays, and so far, Kellen Moore. Not a good start. Now, I liked a lot of his play calls yesterday.
You did.
There were a lot of designs that I really liked.
There was a lot of
pre-snap motion. There was the one play for Devontae Smith. That was actually the one where Dallas Goedert was wide open downfield. You guys see that play?
Hurts, yeah, and they showed it on the thing.
Didn't even look at Dallas Goedert. But
he was wide open.
It was also a great route for Devontae because it was pre-snap motion. Devontae was open underneath. Jalen Hurts just missed the home run ball.
I think that Devontae is a little locked in right now on Jalen Hurts is locked in on Devontae because of A.J. Brown not being there. And it was the biggest issue that I had with A.J. Brown being out was the idea that he locks in on him so much. But yesterday, I think Jalen did a better job.
Oh, much better.
Finding people.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dallas Goedert has a career day yesterday. 10 catches, 170 yards. All right, what do we got on the text line there, Connor? You can text the show. You can call in at 610-632-0975. Our topic today, I mean, we've been reacting to the game all day, but our topic today, I'm not in a good place today. All right, I'm happy that the Eagles won the football game. I'm not happy how it played out.
Okay.
All right? Thrilled that they're 2-1 first place in the NFC East. I saw a lot of issues that I've now seen issues in 3 games for. And I saw a lot of issues last year that continuously happened, okay? Even though last year's last year, this year's this year. This year's problems have now happened for 3 straight weeks when it comes to Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and his turnovers. But I know there's a lot of people that are just happy that they came out of a tough spot with a win, which I get it. That's football. What do we got on the text line?
Sean checks in from the 4-0 PST softball team. Shout out the boys. And he says, Jalen really needs to clean up his act and stop with the turnovers. This is getting unacceptable, but the defense won that game. They deserve all the credit today. All in all, though, a good grinding win that we deserve to celebrate. Go Birds.
Yeah, I mean, look, celebrate the win.
Are you sure you're okay with us doing that?
Honestly, I don't think Connor and I are being flipped when we
celebrate.
Are you sure?
Celebrate the W itself. I would not celebrate the way they played. At least offensively. Defensively, yes.
I don't know that anybody's really celebrating the way that they played. I think that there's enough to celebrate, though. The defense, is worth celebrating.
No, it is. But here's my problem, and we'll talk more about it as these weeks go on. Like, if Saquon Barkley has a bad game, I expect him to bounce back the next week, right? Jalen Hurts has now been a constant with the turnovers. Nick Sirianni in his decision-making has been a constant.
Okay.
I don't see those all of a sudden just getting corrected overnight. And that's why I'm alarmed.
You should be, but you should be less alarmed because of the fact that you got two really good coordinators in place.
That is true.
It's not last year, and you got Saquon.
Which is a big deal. Speaking of Saquon, we'll play a clip from him coming up next, and I wonder how long that message works. We'll explain more coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas right here on a Victory Monday, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles steal a win in New Orleans. I'm Tom.
Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. On this Monday morning, a football Monday, presented by Pierce Phelps, Bryant Heating and Air Conditioning Contractors. Visit nopaybryant.com. All right, so I'm going to play something for you from Saquon Barkley in a few minutes. And it's about a message that I want to know how long can that continue? And it's something, I'll play something from Jalen Hurts as well.
Oh, I just want to share some from Jeff Kerr at CBS.
Oh, okay.
You know how we were all talking about Jason Kelce being gone? You know, and Jason Kelce, the worries from people about Jason Kelce.
Well, I said I did not think we would miss a beat.
I didn't think we would either. Cam Jurgens yesterday, 45 pass blocking snaps. 0 pressures allowed, 0 quarterback hits, 0 sacks allowed.
Yeah.
Cam Jurgens has been almost flawless.
Yeah.
Except for that one snap. He's played flawless ball. By the way, Tyler Steen yesterday, as Jeff points out, 35 pass blocking snaps. 0 pressures allowed, 0 quarterback hits allowed, 0 sacks allowed.
Yeah, good for him.
So, I mean, it's just this. I know everybody was worried about Jason Kelce and, oh, my gosh, how are you going to replace him? Again, centers are not exactly, going to cost you.
Yeah, I really did not think. I mean, how many times did we have the conversation? Who would be the bigger loss, Fletcher Cox or Jason Kelce? It was an easy answer because one guy played very well last year. One guy was okay.
Yes.
And look, let's not act like Cam Jurgens wasn't a second-round pick. Right,
I mean, Cam Jurgens was the guy who, to his credit,
Jason Kelce
handpicked off of video.
Right.
And then took him under wing and was reportedly the best teammate ever.
And for 2 years under his wing, even though he played right guard last year, I'm sure they still worked on on how he could be a center this year.
Reportedly, Jason Kelce was the best dude in the world to a guy who's eventually going to take his job because he wanted to, Jason was winding down.
Right.
Cam Jurgens is being there was any discussion that was spent this year about Jason Kelce being gone, and this is no slam on Jason.
No, of course not.
It's that Cam Jurgens is damn good.
He is. Now,
good job, Jeff.
Before I get to this Saquon Barkley audio, I want to give you guys, John, Connor, I don't feel bad. Okay?
You don't feel bad.
I don't feel bad that I'm not in some great mood today. I don't, because it's how I feel. I will never apologize for how I feel or my opinion on something. I will never apologize.
You're not a panderer.
But I do also understand on a Victory Monday, there's probably people that go, oh, I want to hear the excitement over an Eagles win. I will never lie to you. Never. I'm not a hot take guy to get your reaction. It's how I feel. It's my opinion. I will never apologize for it.
Okay.
But I'm sure there are some people that would rather hear positive things, which you two are more positive today than I am. Obviously, we're all on the same page about Sirianni.
No, we're all on the same page.
And we're all on the same page that Jalen Hurts has to be better.
Absolutely.
At turn the football over.
There's no question.
But you guys are seeing more positive stuff than I am today. So I want you guys to just express it a little bit more before we play this Saquon Barkley.
I am absolutely believing that what I thought was going to be potentially the problem early season has the chance to turn into a strength. The defense being as competent and honestly impactful, which is the word I talked about all summer. It's more than I ever could have imagined. Mm-hmm. And so to me, the thing that I'm most worried about has been really, really good now for the start of the season. And the thing that I know can be fixed, Jalen Hurts' decision-making, it'll get fixed. Like that is, I'm not as worried about that getting fixed because I think it can be fixed. And so I'm not as worried about it. So that's where I'm at today. I look at it as the things I'm really concerned about. I'm impressed with the way they've handled it.
My one rebuttal to the Hurts thing is I don't know how you fix sometimes instincts. The fumble, it's not like...
And I think with him...
It's not like somebody knocked the ball. He didn't make a dumb play on the fumble. He just lost the ball.
No, he did make a dumb play. Because I guarantee you this. His ass would have been chewed out by Nick Saban coming back to the sidelines, and you could have heard Nick Saban going, 2 hands on the damn ball.
Well, yeah.
Protect the ball. Why are you holding it like a loaf of bread?
Right.
You want me to put a freaking handle on it for you? Oh, Saban would have crushed him.
But that's not something that will be coached out of him.
It can be. It can.
I don't know. I think of baseball. Oh, 2 hands on the glove.
No, it really can. It can be coached out of it.
Okay.
It can be. And more importantly, though, I'm a I have very little concern that Jalen Hurts can't clean it up a bit so it's not as big a problem. I have a feeling it's always going to be an issue, but it's not going to be a glaring issue.
Right. And hopefully it's not 2 a week. Like we're kind of at right. We're averaging at 2 a week right now.
There we go.
That needs to stop. Connor, you're more positive than I am today. I'm sure there are a lot of people. But I would like you to express your excitement or positive vibes or whatever you want to say coming off of yesterday's victory.
All right, the ceiling for this team is still kind of up in the air. That's what I think people are a little bit worried about. But to me, defense played awesome. That's something I did not expect to see at any point this season from them. Zach Bond might be a player, dude. Yeah. That guy's everywhere. Nakobe Dean has looked good. Jalen Carter had an awesome game, and he's yelling at the fans in the stands after. We talked about Chauncey.
Did you like that or not?
You know what? Part of me does, part of me doesn't. But we talked about the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson mentality of hey, this team's got fire. Last year, they lost fire down the stretch.
And oh, by the way, John, if the head coach controls himself that way, why shouldn't a player?
No, but the head coach has cleaned that part of his game for the most part up.
Yeah, and credit to Sirianni. He was one of the guys over there saying, yo, calm down, dude.
I saw a great tweet saying I found that. I forget who wrote it, but somebody said that I find that very hilarious. The guy that needed to be told to calm down is now telling people to calm down.
Right.
You know what I would say is that's I'm going to give Nick Sirianni a nod of
he deserves it. Yeah.
And say, and that's okay. It's okay to be a jerk or to make a mistake, to learn from it, and then.
But you know what? Thinking more,
it's okay.
more into it, I don't mind that Jalen Carter was chirpy.
I do a little bit.
I saw a lot of cheap shots from that Saints team.
Yes.
What does that have to do with the fans in the stands?
It has to do with all of them.
Well,
it has nothing
he was
to
originally talking to the player. He was chirping at somebody on the Saints. Then they turned him around. He started saying.
He started going into with the fans. I mean, that to me, that shouldn't be.
But like that aside, like I liked the game that he played yesterday. I thought it was a great game from him. The guys that we wanted to step up, stepped up. Jalen Carter, Dallas Goedert, 170 yards through the air. We were talking about him being non-existent. He was one of the biggest performers of the game.
Yep.
And by the way, Saquon Barkley with 5 touchdowns through 3 games. This dude is everything we could have imagined he was going to be and more.
Yeah.
And this Eagles offense, for people worried about the points that they're not putting up, well, A.J. Brown has played 1 game this year, and he had a bomb touchdown in that game. This offense is going to look different when he comes back. I firmly believe that.
All right.
That's all the positives, right?
Yeah, that's very much positives, and I think, too, one of the biggest positives, and I don't think we've talked about it, and it's 9:09. We should be a little embarrassed of ourselves.
I didn't know about it.
All the guys that they lost yesterday.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And how they just flawlessly managed to play their best ball. The more guys they lost, they even stepped up and played better.
Well, we gave Fred Johnson and Tyler Steen their love.
I mean,
they deserved it, man.
And by the way, that means the position coaches. That means Jeff Stoutland. That means that Kellen Moore. That means that Vic Fangio. That they're well coached.
But
and that's the difference between. And Andrew DiCecco tried to get you to feel good about it.
Yeah.
That's the difference between last year and this year.
And I was just going to bring up something DiCecco said. I mean, like last year, that doesn't happen. Last year, what went wrong? They had a collapsed loss, or they got blown out, but then everything fell apart because adversity hit. They got smoked by adversity, a week ago from where we're at right now, and then went on a short week on the road against a team that's been boat racing teams. I don't care what you think about the Panthers and the Cowboys. And you found a way with a bunch of injuries to steal a win. That is a way to calm down this fan base, and that's exactly what we needed to see.
Now, speaking of 9:09, now 9:10. My bad. We have a ticket ready going on right now.
We do.
Right now.
Hey, we got FanFest this Saturday, the 28th at Xfinity Live. Can't wait for it, man. Another year, another FanFest. It will be at Xfinity Live, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Right now, you head to the website, 975thefanatic.com. We have an online ticket rate. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, I don't know what you've been waiting for. FanFest is this Saturday. This is I'm guessing, our last online ticket raid. So go to the website right now, 975thefanatic.com, and get to that online ticket raid right now so that you can get tickets for the incredible party that will be coming our way on Saturday. Can't wait to see Andre Drummond there, Tom McGinnis, the voice of the Philadelphia 76ers, and a whole lot more coming your way this Saturday at Xfinity Live. It's going to be a lot of fun. But, yeah, online ticket rate happening right now. So go to 975thefanatic.com.
We look forward to seeing everybody. And I know how much, like, Andrew DiCecco is excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
What about Bill Colarulo?
Yeah.
I mean, this is Bill Colarulo with the FanFest excitement. It is my first year, 21. So many people built it up to me and said what it was going to feel like, what it was going to be like. Nobody did it right. I mean,
it was even more.
Incredible.
Yeah. And we got the return of Mikey Miss this year.
Mikey Miss will be there too.
Is Amy Fadul going to make an appearance?
I think she's
her first.
I think she's making it. That's another one, Connor.
Yeah, a lot of people to meet. Come out.
And I have a wedding afterwards, so I'll be in a suit at some point.
I'm worried about you being smelly at the wedding.
Yeah, we'll figure that one out.
Because I don't believe there's a place for you to take a shower.
Xfinity Live's got sinks, right?
Yeah, just go in the bathroom and splash some water from the sink.
That's all. All right, here's Saquon Barkley after the game yesterday talking. He got into a conversation about urgency, and then he said something about that's football. Take a listen, and I want to react to it.
I mean, yeah, what I've seen from them in camp. We've been going against them in camp, and they've been balling. And that's just football, man. Like, I know fans and I know reporters, you guys get caught up in week by week, but each week is a new week. When you look at it, each week's a new week. And obviously they didn't like how they played last week. They didn't stop the run well. And from the jump, they set the tone, let them know that it's not going to be that type of day. And now the beauty of it, we got to have the same sense of urgency that we had last week when we lost the football game, because this easily could have been another loss. We could easily be 3-0. We could easily be 0-3. And that's just football. You got to make plays when it needs to happen, but the urgency got to be the same. And we got to go back tomorrow, watch film, and get better from it.
All right. My question for you guys.
Okay.
When does that's just football needs to turn into we're clicking? Because I heard a similar message from the Eagles locker room last year. Remember, Jalen Hurts for the first half of the season, even though they were winning, was saying, the standard's the standard. We got to play up to standard.
No, I do remember that.
And then clearly when they were struggling, he was like, well, since when is winning not the main thing, right? At some point, the messaging changed.
Okay.
Now, no team has really played incredible football to start the season.
No, they have not.
Like, let's face it. There's a couple of 3-0 teams, and I saw somebody tweeting at me saying, how can you say the Seahawks and Vikings aren't good? Because they're not. Like, they're not good football teams.
No. That's they're not. You can't say they're not good football teams. You can't.
I just heard him. He did it.
I mean, you can't, though. See, I think you're being very dismissive of them.
I could still see the Seattle Seahawks finishing third in their division despite starting 3-0.
Sure you could. But are they going to be a 9-win team that finishes third? A 10-win team that finishes third?
All right. They are not an elite football team or close to it.
Guess what? Those teams, if you say those are teams that are not going to be what the Eagles are at the finish line, that you firmly believe that with your chest, Connor and I'd be right behind you.
All right. Then we'll go with that.
We stand with you. We stand with you on that.
When do you have to start? I'll ask you guys, because you guys are more positive than I am after that game yesterday.
We are.
When do the two of you need to start seeing all-around better football? We have not seen a full-on clean game from this football team just yet. I saw a cleaner offense in week 2, but then obviously the interception at the end from Jalen Hurts, which can happen. Bad coaching by Nick Sirianni. Week 3, yesterday, the offense was sputtering, even though they did put up a lot of yards. But, again, 2 more turnovers from Jalen Hurts. Nick Sirianni's coaching decisions were bad. Okay. He had a great, elite performance by the defense. When do you guys, the two of you, need to start seeing better football and that whole, it's early, goes out the window. Winning football games is hard. All that goes out the window.
When you have your full complement of players.
Okay.
That's my answer. When you have, and I'm not saying if there's one guy out that should be an excuse. Kellen Moore being without A.J. Brown.
It's a big deal.
That's a huge one. One guy on the offensive line being out or one, is different. So I'm going to say that when they have their relative full complement of players, and I believe also after the bye week.
Okay, Connor?
Because I believe there'll be a reset.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Like, I'm looking at that week 7 Giants game, or is that week 8, whatever it is with the bye. When they play the Giants the first time on October 20th.
Yeah.
That needs to be like we're starting to roll, because then you go ahead and you play Cincinnati and the Jaguars and the Cowboys, and I think the Cowboys stink, but still a divisional game. That's when you need to start playing better football.
What about before the Giants? What about the week before that? You're coming off a bye playing Cleveland, who...
No, the Cleveland, they should dominate.
Yeah.
You should dominate Cleveland. You should dominate the Giants. You should come out of that, though. You should walk out of both of those games saying, okay, I want both of those games to look like 22.
Yeah.
Where in the fourth quarter, they are in hand, and you're feeling really good about what you've seen.
I'm not saying it can't start sooner, and I'm not saying I don't want it to start sooner. The question was, when do you need to? And I need to, that Giants game is the first.
All right, so Giants for you.
Yeah.
Cleveland for me.
Cleveland for you.
Like, I want those 2 games. I want Cleveland and the Giants after the bye week. I want this team to come out and look like 22, where the fourth quarter, you're saying, what is this Eagles team and what can they be?
Right.
You know, you're all excited.
Because one of my premises today, in my negative nature, apparently, is this team, like, I did not come into this season saying, hey, I hope they make the playoffs. I didn't say coming into the season, I hope they're one of the wild card teams. No, I said if they don't win the division, it's a failure, which right now they're in first place of the division. That's great. And we've talked about them being a Final Four. I have not gone as far as saying home game. You have said etched in stone.
No, etched in stone was the NFC title game. I believe we were going to host it, though.
Yes.
I do believe we're going to host it. Etched in stone, I believe they're playing they are a Final Four team.
And so, with all that being said, like, at some point they need to start playing like one. And
you're right.
I know the league is the league. You guys have heard me talk about quarterback play ad nauseum, right? I'm focused on my squad. I'm focused on the Eagles.
Okay.
And so far, through 3 weeks, they're 2-1, but it hasn't been great football. Maybe I'm judging them a little bit too harshly to start the season because I've told you I'm tired of that preseason excuse. I'm tired of it. I know it's an excuse for every team in the league. I'm tired of hearing it. Then change your philosophies. But so, Connor, you're saying you need to see them clicking against at least the Giants.
That Giants week is when they need to roll.
And you're saying Cleveland.
Oh, I say it's after the bye week. After the bye week,
okay,
it must be done.
I'm curious if people would text that answer in at 610-632-0975. When do you need to see the Eagles start clicking on all cylinders?
And not this week, especially if you're going to potentially have a bunch of guys out.
Yeah, I mean, this week they could be banged up. There's going to be a lot of concussion protocol reports that we're going to be taking a look at all week long, man. Let's go to Brian in Dallas. Brian, you're on 97.5, The Fanatic.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
What's up, Brian?
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I wanted to talk about the defense real quick, but Andrew, I'm leave it alone and go to the topic at hand because I'm with you, right? And I want to ask John and Connor a question.
Okay.
Right. I feel exactly how Andrew feels. Love to win, always love when we win, but it's a struggle, right? And that's because of this. When you talk about just the offense, the additions we have of offense, right? The change of coordinators and adding Saquon Barkley, the two people that can usurp the offensive coordinator and can take the ball out of Saquon's hands are Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. And those two, the whole operations have not changed for last year. So I think that's a legitimate concern to have with Andrew. Like, you're always going to be Nick. There's a bonehead call of bad clock management Nick will make in every game. That's consistent. We all agree with that. So I have no problem with you guys, with you and Connor being, excited. But I think Andrew has a legitimate issue, the same with us and most fans.
We don't,
right?
The thing is, though, wait a minute, though. We don't disagree that Andrew has a legit, right, Connor?
Yeah, we agree with the issues.
But I think what you're burying, there's a thing in media, you're burying the lead. And the lead is this team is playing damn good and sort of better than we all expected. This team is playing defensively. And if A.J. Brown was here, and not injured, I don't believe we'd be having this conversation. I really don't.
And that's what's tough. That's what's tough with me because again, love to win, take it every time, right? We beat the Packers, great, right? But we beat the Packers with the same issues that Hurts keeps showing. And all we're saying is we can win, but we know that's not sustainable in the latter part of the season. That's what the concern is. Same thing we had last year. The concern was we kept winning. John, you even said it yourself. Last week in your frustration, you said it yourself. I don't want to hear nothing no more about a win is a win.
Yesterday I don't put that at all into that category. I don't put that at all into that category.
No. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, but I'm saying the win is a win thing. I don't have to use that yesterday.
No, right. I'm saying your purpose of saying that was because of primarily the leadership and the errors we keep seeing on offense. I think that's still that's that again.
Okay.
I will take the win, 100%.
Absolutely, Brian.
No.
And thanks for the call,
I think he makes good point. I think he makes good points there.
Oh, when he says it's a good point.
No, I do. I think he makes a good point there. I really do. I think it's the idea is that, though, is you can't say yesterday you're picking apart. They lost 5 starters. The defense gave up 12 points. You can't be bitching and complaining about something that happened last year. You have to celebrate what they accomplished.
Move on.
Go Birds. 2-1, baby. All right, coming up next, we're going to do a little bit of tomorrow's show next.
Oh, what?
I know. Don't do the show.
Don't move
the
on
show.
that quick.
What are we doing?
What have we learned so far through 3 weeks with the Philadelphia Eagles? We'll discuss that a little bit coming up next. We get more of your calls and your text messages. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles move on.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Going to get back to the texts and the calls momentarily. We've touched on it. Britton Covey exited the game yesterday per Brandon Galton, who you were just with.
I was just sitting next
last week.
He's probably talking Eagles PR going, can you shift me before the next game? Really good.
I don't want to sit with that Jock and K fella anymore.
It was nice hanging out with him. He's a big man.
Yeah, he's huge.
Really big.
Well, per Brandon Galton, Britton Covey has suffered a broken bone in his shoulder, and he could miss at least 6 weeks.
Ooh.
Now, Britton Covey, the special teams player, that's obviously a pretty big loss. Britton Covey, the offensive weapon. I don't need Kellen Moore designing many more plays for him, even though I will give him credit. There was a play yesterday. I think it was a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9.
And I hated the play.
But dude,
you did hate it.
He made the one-man miss, and he got the first down. And that's one of those plays where you go, all right, the little dude that's shifty, you need one of those guys. The Eagles have not had one of those players. The shifty guy that you can throw to on 3rd down, like a Cole Beasley type.
Yeah, but that was what in the world are they doing? Oh, first down.
First down, right. But look, he won one-on-one.
Did you have a microphone in my house?
No.
Well, you might have.
Was that the same thing?
You might have. That's what I would say. Oh, no. Well, yeah.
But he won the one-on-one battle,
Wilson,
man.
Though.
That does suck, though. Cooper DeJean, time to step up.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, that's one that I'm starting to go, why can't Cooper DeJean play? Why can't he play?
Well,
what's the problem?
He did return, one punt?
No, I don't care about punts.
Yeah.
I don't care about punts.
Who are you playing him over?
You didn't draft him. You didn't draft snaps, 10 snaps.
After the game yesterday the defense had? Well, I messed with it.
It tells me that he's not cracking the lineup, though.
Well, at safety, you have 2 guys they really like.
How do you feel about Avonte Maddox?
I haven't really noticed him being bad.
He wasn't good last week.
First 2 games, he was not good.
He wasn't good last week.
Yesterday, he was
fine.
A better game yesterday.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's a trust thing. Vic Fangio clearly likes to play the veteran players if he believes in them, and he'll give opportunities to guys like Quinyon Mitchell, but I don't think anyone's mistaking the level that rookies are on, like Quinyon Mitchell for Cooper DeJean. But listen, we saw it with Jordan Davis with the Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph thing. We've seen it before with this team where they like to play the veterans for a competitive team, and I don't think that's necessarily a knock on DeJean. He's just clearly got work he's got to do.
Yeah, I mean, there were really only 3 guys defensively yesterday that I had a problem with. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson didn't have another not-so-good game, but you're not going to play DeJean over him. And then Nolan Smith and Bryce Huff. Like, Nolan Smith, again, did nothing, and neither did Bryce Huff. But, you got Brandon Graham. All-pro. You got all-pro BG on the edge right now.
You do.
Which is amazing to me. Good, good
no,
for
it's
him.
crazy.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's crazy.
All right, let's go. Let's get back to some calls and some texts. Let's go to Mike and Yardley. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Happy Victory Monday.
Happy Victory Monday.
So, believe it or not, Andrew, my buddy, I'm not on the same side of the aisle as you.
That's fine.
And I know you gave John some opportunities to give his say as to why, and Connor, and I want to give you my say as to why you should be optimistic and happy about these first 3 weeks. This is not the same team from last season. So the team from last season would have found a way to lose that game with all those, starters being out. The team from last season didn't have an answer to the blitz. Did you know that they stopped trying to blitz us because Hurts had an answer to the blitz?
Hurts has been very good at it this year against the blitz.
Even the incompletion to Gainwell, at least that was an adjustment to the blitz where he threw it hot to the sideline on a quick hitch. There was one instance where the slot corner blitzed, and Covey was like, hey, I'm open. This is the hot read, and Hurts saw it right away, got it out to him. So I'm happy about those small little adjustments. The adjustment on defense went to a 5-man front right off the bat. You are not going to throw the ball. I mean, you are not going to run the ball against us.
Well, they had to. Yeah, I mean, Zach Bond did a tremendous job. I know we've talked about the tackling, but Zach Bond just straight up setting the edge on a couple of plays. He was great in more areas than just the stat sheet shows.
Having your stand-up linebacker actually come down and play the edge someplace that can make up for Huff, and then putting Graham there to make up for Huff and to set the edges, that was the big difference in that game.
It really
and
was.
another little tweak, they had the interior lineman twist instead of twisting the tackle in the end like we've been trying to for the first 2 games. They were like the D tackle's going to twist, and that freed up Jordan Davis and Carter for a little bit. So I see adjustments. It means that there are adults in the room that are making decisions. So I'm happy by those adjustments.
Okay,
I like that. That's good.
And that's a positive way to look at it, Mike. And thanks for the call. That's good.
It is.
And look, I'm going to go to another call here, which
I just think today. I think the issue is this. I don't think today was the day that you would be. The first things out of your mouth would be what you were upset about. Is that fair?
I mean, that's how I took it, though.
No, I know, and I don't want you to do
it.
No, I'm saying to you, I don't want you to do it anyway. I want you to be you.
It's not that you can't. It's that you're wrong to from a perspective.
I think that I honestly, I think it lacked. I think it lacks a little perspective coming off of that game, especially the way the defense played.
Okay.
Like 2 weeks in a row, your defense has been playing like a top 5 defense, which is crazy.
And 2 weeks in a row, my head coach has made boneheaded decisions.
No. There is absolutely.
And my quarterback has turned the football over too many times.
Absolutely.
So
no questions asked.
I can go right back. It's like playing Uno.
Against 3 teams.
I can go, boom, reverse card.
But against 3 teams that could win their division.
Could, yes.
Don't make me draw 4 your ass.
I want to go to another call. Now, this is another positive outlook.
Okay.
It goes back to the coach because it didn't play out this way. But let's go to Skip in North Philly. What up, Skip?
What's up, guys? Andrew, John.
How you doing, brother?
Buddy?
Andrew, I'm usually on board with you, bro, but the offense didn't spurt her, bro. Jalen and Nick spurted the offense. Jalen threw an interception in the end zone. Then he turned the ball over as we're driving. And those 2 fourth down plays was in scoring position.
But you don't see the problem with that? You just said the offense.
He does, though.
No, he just said the offense didn't sputter. It was just the quarterback and the coach.
No, I don't think
the two most important.
No, but I don't think the offense sputtered. The offense almost. What did they go?
They threw for over 400 yards.
They went to 460 or something. Like I don't think the offense sputtered. I think the quarterback pooped his pants.
I know.
Twice.
He just said the offense did not sputter.
And I agree with him. Though.
But we can't just be like, man.
That isn't the offense sputtering. That is a player, one singular player making bad plays.
Offense sputtering is 3 and out.
Yes, that's sputter.
No, I know. I'm not saying that the offense did sputter. I've talked about Kellen Moore's. I actually loved a lot of the things out of the Kellen Moore offense, but you just said almost ignore what Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni did.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying ignore. What I'm saying is sputtering is 3 and out. Nobody has moved the ball against the Saints the way we did yesterday. 500-plus yards of offense, that's not sputtering.
I never said sputter. I never used the word sputter.
You did say the offense was sputtering.
Oh, I said Jalen Hurts had 2 more bad turnovers.
You did say
Did
sputter.
I use the word sputter?
You did.
Okay.
You said that
I must have forgot that I used the word sputter.
We all heard it.
When you said it, though, my ears perked up because I'm like, you can't get 460 yards in a game.
Fine. Then maybe I should use a different word because I didn't even realize I said it.
No, just say your quarterback made bad decisions.
Quarterback made 2 more bad decisions. The head coach made more bad decisions.
Right. I'll take the bad decisions. But the offense, Jalen might be the first quarterback that put those 300 yards in the NFL this season.
Okay.
So the offense didn't sputter.
Yeah, it didn't sputter.
Okay, you're right. The offense didn't sputter. The turnovers need to get better, and the head coach, thanks for the call, Skip, needs to get better.
No, that's true.
And I don't see how the Jalen Hurts interceptions and fumbles is not just a problem for 3 weeks this year.
No, it's a continuing problem.
It's a 21-week straight issue, pretty much.
But we've seen him not do it. Like, there is a point.
2 years ago.
It has been a long time since we've seen him not do it.
I understand, and that's why I'm not saying, like John, I think it can be fixed thing. It's going to be fixed. I don't know that I could go that far because Jalen Hurts is up in the air for me. But I have seen a version of Jalen Hurts that is not this guy. So I can hold out hope that there is that quarterback in there still. Or I could hold out hope that they're going to be able to do enough with an offensive coordinator that I trust and skill positions when they're healthy that should make up for it. The head coach is a different conversation entirely. But what are we going to do? Every win this year, we're going to say, well, the head coach doesn't get the job done. Like, he's not smart enough to coach this team.
If they win football games where he doesn't make 4 bad decisions.
Well, guess what? He's going to.
And I'm going to say
then that's a problem.
And I'm going to say to you that the idea of, to me, it's not important until it's important. The Phillies playing poor baseball, mediocre baseball since June. I'm going to pray like hell that Red October is awesome, and I'll be down there tonight to hopefully see them clinch. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not sticking my head in the sand going, yeah, there's a switch that they're going to hit, that all of a sudden they're going to have a good approach to the plate, and the offense isn't going to sputter. Now, sputtering is going to do that. I'm hoping like hell that's what's going to happen.
I'm not saying it's not important, right? I'm just saying that right now you'll take the wins for the spot you're in. Remember, 10-1 was where things collapsed last year. They're 2-1. We have 8 more games to get to the point where they even fell apart. They need time. They won a tough game. We should celebrate it.
But you were patient. I was not. Remember that.
Well, that's on you.
I'm trying to help you. That's
help you.
Now you're realizing where I'm coming from.
What is this, Jerry Maguire?
I told you from the beginning, I'm holding Jalen Hurts to a higher standard this year, and I'm not going to be patient. And so far, he has not necessarily played great football.
And you did say that, so you're not just throwing that out today.
I'm not like all of a sudden week 3, I changed my tune. This is what I've been saying since training camp.
Yeah, I've been.
All right, coming up next, we got the Key 3, presented by Von C. We'll sneak in some more texts and calls right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Bill Colarulo.
There was a lot to like about Jalen Hurts. I know we keep going back.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Mike Missanelli show coming your way at 10 o'clock with Bill Colarulo and Ray Dunn. We'll get back to another call or text before we get out of here, but it is time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 presented by Von C.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
Johnny, good victory Monday morning.
I'm going to correct you already. Great.
Okay.
Yesterday was great. There's so many great things happened.
Yeah.
It was great.
Were those great things in the Eagles game or like in your life personally? Like, did you have a great day with your wife?
I didn't really because she went to a shower.
Okay.
Which is fun.
So you had a great meal is what you're saying. Because I'm trying to figure out what the great part about the Eagles game was.
It was a great day because you wake up today in far better position than you woke up Friday morning or Sunday morning if you're an Eagles fan.
Yes.
You're in much better position today than you were. That's my great thing.
Hey, let's go. It's time to get better because the Nick Sirianni issues I was already worried about.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts' turnovers I was already worried about. Those continued yesterday.
They did.
And I don't see that all of a sudden just getting better overnight. And that's what concerns me.
It should concern you. But the thing is, you got to look at what they did yesterday. Like, that's an incredible spot to win. And more importantly, to dial up a 12-point defensive effort, that is what you should be screaming from the rooftops.
I'm celebrating it.
I got to tell you, the jumping off point is, damn what the defense is doing. Yo! Secondary's doing.
My God, do I not feel better about the offense today? Do I not feel better about Nick Sirianni today? I'm glad that you are looking at the positives, John, but this is not about winning a game. This is about a bigger picture, about not just winning the division and calling it a day and saying we're happy. No, this is about trying to get to a Super Bowl, getting back to an NFC Championship game. You have had the calendar date marked that we're going to be doing a pregame show on NFC Championship Sunday.
And you're going to be doing one. See, I couldn't, right off the bat, I couldn't disagree with you more. I always look at September in the NFL as survive in advance.
Okay.
And this team, the stuff that I'm not worried about is the stuff that they got to work on. The stuff that I was really worried about, and I believe could still become an issue, is the stuff that has risen to the occasion. I look at that as an extreme positive.
Andrew DiCecco joins us. Andrew, good morning. How you doing?
You have to tip your hat to Vic Fangio and that Eagles defense, always surrendering 12 points to the Saints. It was a masterful game plan from Fangio. I think he deserves the game ball, and they were playing inspired football, and I think that without their performance, obviously, they wouldn't be in that game.
I swear to you, I feel great this morning about that. Wow. Except one little minor issue.
Just one?
Yeah, the head coach.
Okay, just one.
No, that's it. It's just one. Because I got to believe that there is something with the quarterback that can be fixed.
I hope so, because that's two more.
No, it is.
And two more turnovers, which is the most in the NFL since week 1 last season. 2 more yesterday. 3 in week 1. Another 1 in week 2.
Now, you realize the Jalen Hurts truthers who are going to come at you. And by the way, I'm a huge supporter, and I think you're a fan.
I am a fan.
And I think that that's key to start any conversation. You're a fan. But to me, it's completely unacceptable the way Jalen Hurts is playing.
Look, I don't want to be doom and gloom guy.
Well, you're starting out that way.
I know.
I'm just telling you.
Look, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'll be completely honest with you. Like, if people aren't ready to hear that the Eagles need to figure out a hell of a lot of things in order to get to the goals that we had for this team, this isn't the Washington Commanders where we're excited for rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels and we're saying, hey, let's see what this team can do in year 1 with new head coach and new quarterback. No, this is year 4 of Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. This is now 2 years removed from the Super Bowl. Last year's collapse, we were hoping that they were going to bounce back, and so far they're 2-1, but they're not looking like a team that will be competing late in January. So far, I've not seen that. We had this exact same conversation last year.
I got to tell you, and this is just where we're starting today, I can't believe you're starting here.
Yeah, I'm with Johnny on this one, dude.
I can't believe you're starting here.
I'm happy for
you know what
guys.
It means? This is just brother to brother here. Yes. Honestly. You're starting this game as somebody who picked them to lose. You're not starting this game as you're starting it as like, see, they won, but it's still as bad as I thought they were. No, this team is playing a lot better than you thought they were, and that most of us did.
And that's the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 presented by Von C Brewing. Love Von C. Check out their Key 3 going on right now in Norristown. They got the Oktoberfest celebration, which starts this week, September 27th through the 29th.
Oktoberfest!
We could try their Oktoberfest Key 3. Wow.
You got lots of nice beers.
Can you name the 3 beers then?
Is that Fozzie Bear?
In that accent, can you please tell us their current Key 3?
We've got the Berliner Weiss,
which is a historic German sour.
We've got the Fest beer.
That one's my favorite to say. The Fest beer.
And the Von Oktoberfest Marzen.
I don't think that one actually was English.
I think they were going for Von Seetoberfest.
Well, they could do
Von
that too. But I'm German, so I don't know Von See as well. So now I know. It's a Munich malt. It's like a love letter to it.
Can you say that last line all in your accent?
I would visit vonseebrewing.com and find out where you can pick up your Key 3 from Von See today.
Hopefully they still like us and are still advertising
I bet they do.
tomorrow.
It's half Dracula. I don't know what the other half is.
That is a tribute to Bernie Kopell.
By the way, I forgot to mention one more time. No, who the hell is
Neither
that?
you know. He was.
Does Bernie Kopell work for Pierce Phelps Bryant Heating Air Conditioning?
No, he was Siegfried on Get Smart.
Because you can visit nopaybryant.com today. It's a football Monday. All right. Tell us about the ACR, Bernie.
Hey, support life-saving cancer research. Join us and our generous partner, H&H Heating and Air Conditioning. If Joe Hoke's back from vacation, he's listening. Make a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research. You can do it today at 975thefanatic.com/AACR. I'm living proof that cancer research saves lives 3 times over. I'm ready for FanFest Saturday.
Damn right, man.
Last year, I was so sick on FanFest Day. It was like a really hard day. I am so looking forward to having an adult beverage.
Damn right.
Hanging out with our listeners and having some fun. Can't wait for it. And by the way, big shout out to Eric Simon, who is the guy who really
He's the guy, period.
He is the guy who is doing so much damn work for this event. We cannot wait for you. We want you to meet Eric, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Eric Simon, man. The former manager of the Beasley Bulldogs softball team.
I didn't realize that.
Everybody have a great rest of your day. Mike Missanelli show is coming your way
Division
next.
title tonight.
I hope so.
And I'll be there.
And we'll be back at it tomorrow morning right here, 97.5 The Fanatic.